Hey, welcome, buddy. It is Sabbath Saturday. Yes, it is the Jewish Sabbath. I actually was going to do a stream kind of relating to that this morning, actually, but I changed my mind. I was actually going to do one on the topic of forgiveness because it came up in a discussion we were having yesterday. My apologies. My internet took a crapola hard. It took a major dump there for a few, and so I kind of lost my internet connection, and it didn't come back in any reasonable time to maintain the conversation we were having with somebody named, what was it, Tim or Tom or something along those lines. It goes Tim. I know that they kind of carried it on off air a little bit with Cheshire and Manya, but he had raised a few points that I kind of wanted to address about forgiveness from my own perspective. And so I was actually going to do a Sabbath Saturday today, and I still might. I don't know. Maybe it's still early. I got to do a stream tonight with James is Tired at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. I am going on his channel. Obviously, this discussion is going to be about atheism. Go figure. I know, shock to all. But I like James. He's a good guy. I've known him for quite some time, and he's been trying to get me on, and just timing and things of that nature have been preventive. So I finally was like, man, I got to go on his channel. He's a good guy. Really want to go hang out with him. So that's going to be tonight. But if I have some time in the interim between now and then, and you guys want to see it about my positions on forgiveness, let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat, preferably in the comment section after this is over. I do try to read every comment if possible. Yes, I'm a huge fan of Black Sabbath, as people know. I love Black Sabbath, one of my all-time favorite groups. I mean, my top favorite groups: Rush, Metallica, Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, and probably Ghost. Oh, Ghost BC. And by the way, that was relatively new. I didn't get into Ghost, I don't know, probably... First Ghost song I heard maybe it was about a year ago. And Red's Rhetoric had introduced me to it. And I was like, this is some of the greatest music I've ever heard in my life. Ghost is just absolutely brilliant. I mean, the lead singer's name is Tobias Forge, and I had never even heard of the guy. And it's funny because I watched an interview where he said, you know, we kind of devised Ghost to be that group where that you've never heard of him, but when you do, you're like, how did I miss out on this my entire life? So, he was absolutely right on that. I don't know if you guys know of Ghost, but they are a satanic heavy metal band, and man, they're just. I have no words to describe how talented they are, and they have a unique perspective on music that kind of I like too. Very fun, playful, not to be taken seriously, and just enjoy the melodic essence of music. And Tobias Forrest has just a clean voice. I mean, his vocals are just superb. Very few vocalists have that ability to have that very perfect pitch, intonation, and everything just so clean. And his vocals are the cleanest vocals I've ever heard from a male singer. From a female singer, I tend to go to the lead singer, one of the original singers of Nightwish, Tarja. She's like a 4-octave range or something as a soprano. But anyways, those are my little sidetracks for right now. There was something else I wanted to add. Oh yeah, there's a couple of other notifications before I get into the topic, which I want to be discussing this morning. Because it kind of just happened. It kind of just happened yesterday. So I was like, man, I want to talk about this. But there's a couple other things that have been occurring. If you guys look at the top, I have pinned non sequitur show of bookings. Don't get your hopes up. I am not saying that I have non sequitur back, because I do not. But if I do ever get it back, it'll probably be sometime between here and the end of the year. And so I don't want to wait till last minute if we do actually get it back. If it comes back in December or just before January, I want to have already guests ready to go. And so I'm going to try to get it back. I'm still trying to get it back, and I'm still trying to make something of it, because I think Non Sequitur was a brilliant show. I think we had a great time, and I kind of want to do that stuff again, if I can. Will it ever be successful? I don't know. I'm going to say probably not, but I've been wrong on a lot of things before, so hopefully I'm wrong on that. But you know what? It isn't a matter of whether Non Sequitur show is going to be as big as it was before or not. What it matters is that we did the ethical thing. My lawyer was very clear that Kyle would have gotten away with everything had we not had the resources and the generosity of Ruhif, to say the least, to finance the lawsuit. So most people wouldn't have been in that position, and Kyle would have got away with everything. And so whether we get successful again or not, it is the fight. I believe people should fight for ethical things. They always have. That's why I sued Kyle. That's why I'm suing Katie Joy Paulson. My GoFundMe is back up, contrary to popular belief. It was not taken down my GoFundMe permanently. They had asked me to fix some things. I did, and they reviewed it and recognized that I fixed them. They said that you can't offer it as a loan, and I understand that, so I can't do that. But I did do everything they said, and my GoFundMe is back up. So my GoFundMe is in the video description. My GoFundMe and my Patreon are basically going to be, and my job are my living right now. So I don't have a lot of hours right now on my job. It's not full time right now. It will be soon, hopefully, but it is not yet. So I am really relying on putting out content, and hopefully people will watch it, and hopefully people will enjoy it, and then bring people on as guests, whether you book for the Non Sequitur Show or you book for this channel, either or. But I have a new email for it, Non Sequitur Show at proton.mail. It's a secure email server. Not that I needed that, but I just needed another email, so I just picked that. So whatever. But it is a secure email server, supposedly from Sweden or something. But if you want to come on either show, let me know if you have a concept or you have a subject you want to talk about. I do know a lot of people that have already reached out to me that want to talk about different stuff. I have a person that want to talk about the Sphinx again. Remember that discussion? Obviously, I have a lot of people that want to talk about what happened. A lot of people that want to talk about parapsychology, talking about ghost hunting, talking about Ouija boards, talking about the church, various aspects of religion, philosophy. I mean, I do have people that I know that do want to have these discussions. So I think getting guests is going to be the easiest part. Just when is going to be the most difficult, but we'll see. Again, I've been wrong before on that. But as Smitty says, I'm actually fine with Non Sequitur being smaller. I am too, I am too, Smitty. There was a huge amount of bloat in the chat towards the end that really wasn't conversations as much as a barrage of comments. Yeah, and I get that as well. Contrary to popular big YouTubers' belief, size doesn't matter. I'm never going to be a big YouTuber. I've already figured that out, and I've learned that a long time ago. What I want to be is somebody who's at least competent enough to be taken seriously on some of the things I do discuss, which I think I am, at least in the philosophical community. If there's a philosopher out there that thinks I'm completely hosed on my philosophy, I'm fine with that. I don't know who they would be, but I like to talk to them and find out why. Like I said, I am writing my philosophical paper, and hopefully that will be published eventually after I sit down and finally write a stupid introduction. I know what I want to say in it. I just haven't been able to do it. So I am working on that. Anyways, if I can ask you guys, help share this video, put it out there on your social medias. I like to try to promote myself, but it hasn't been very good doing so. But we'll see what happens. Anyways, what else has got an update on? I think that's about it. So you guys want to just dive in this particular topic? Yeah, let's kind of dive. Well, hang on. Let me read the chat here. Intrigued Feline says, I assume you have heard of the issue with McToon and MDD last night. I have not. I know they had a debate, McToon and some guy named Fred or something, or Eric or Alex. I think it was Alex. I don't know who it was, on Space or something. I don't know. I don't watch modern day debate. I like James. James is a great guy, but it's just I'm not a big fan of that type of debate structure, and he knows that. And it's just different styles. I moderate differently. He moderates differently. But I'm a big fan of James. I think Non Sequitur can really play a role there for discussions and debates at a higher standard. Yeah, no, and that's what it would be. And I will never be in competition with modern day debate. Modern day debate obviously, kind of formulated his model from Non Sequitur show, and great to do so. I mean, that was very wise of him. James is not an idiot. James is a very smart guy. But we have our own different way of doing things, and I have my own way, and I'm going to have creative control again on the Non Sequitur show if I ever get it back. And of course, huge input from Cheshire. But Cheshire and I have a very similar approach to things on the way we view things, on how we want things done like that. Matter of fact, we have very few, if ever creative differences. It's almost bizarre how kind of in line we are. And then, and what happens is I'll make a suggestion, like even the other day, I said, hey, I kind of want to do this. And she's like, do you really want to do that, Steve? I can't do a Canadian. I can't do a Cheshire Canadian accent. She's like, what do you want to say? What do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know yet. She's like, well, maybe you want to plan it out more. I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. So what actually happened though? I mean, what was the issue? So McToon left in 25 minutes or so because he could not get a word in. From whom? So you might have to suss that out a little bit for me, because again, I didn't watch it, and I know he left. I know I stormed off. I do read my Twitter feed. And that's why I had blocked a lot of people, because I was like, look, my Twitter feed is cluttered as shit, especially with nonsense from, you know, these psychopaths like Minister Sobriety and Unirock and people that tweet to them and Estella. I don't have anything to do with those people. They're just absolutely critically insane. I mean, I've never seen the psychopathy of anybody in my life for those people. They're just bizarre. I didn't want on my Twitter feed, and since I blocked those people, guess what happened? It stopped being on my Twitter feed, so it did work. But I was like, maybe I should go back to trying to mute, because I mean, I don't want to. I had blocked Intrigue Feline, I had blocked Brandon, I had blocked Crunch Chappah, and of course, you know, these people I like. I mean, I was going to block Cheshire too, but the Cheshire was like, no, I've already had them blocked, because I was like, look, I don't care what you do, you can have any conversation you want, but I don't want to see it in the feed, because it bloats it and it's just crap. I mean, these guys are just idiots. Why would I want to dumb myself down and be exposed to that nonsense? I don't care. And all of them were very understanding of it, from what I understand. I think Brandon made a video. I didn't watch it, but I did tell Brandon that I was blocking him. I DM'd him and said, look, I nothing personal, but I know you engage with these people, and by all means do so if you want to, but I don't want to see it. But I did unblock them, and I did refollow. So if you have been blocked, let me know. Follow me back if you want. I mean, I can treat Feline. Hopefully she'll follow me back, because we DM all the time. She edits my stuff. The moderator didn't do any moderating. She responded with, I don't understand how you feel. I'm sending you hearts, and shortly left. The vast video is their most disliked to date. Wow. Well, like I said, I don't do you guys know how I moderate and how I have these discussions. I'm an integral part of the discussions, and I will reiterate that time and time again. And so my moderators know, which I don't have very many of right now. I have been cutting down, but I will be bringing them back up over time. If we'll find a way to, because again, I don't want to have a lot of moderators, and you know I love you all. But I don't want to see a blue. So you guys are going to have to help me decide who to have moderators, because of course they help showing messages that get hidden, right? Or not hidden, but temporarily hidden, right? For review. And so I can't pay attention to all that. So I do need moderators. I think one of my messages is not showing. I will DM you. Where's it not showing? I don't see anything that's not coming up here. Nope, you have nothing that's in review. So, like I said, like I said, I really do, guys. I really hope you guys block those people. Block all of them, all those nutters. I mean, look, it doesn't do anybody any good engaging with them. All it does is add to their psychopathy, and all it does is add to drama. Why do that? It's not going to be productive. If you want to talk to other people about it, and you want to point it out, and you just want to retweet them, and you just want to, that's fine. I absolutely go ahead. It's the engagement, right? If you just retweet them, and and you don't engage with them, then they don't get that narcissistic hit or that psychotic hit from it, right? They're just, and it's just, again, I don't really want to see it, but I can handle a retweet more than people for days. These threads go on, and all I do is get these notifications. I'm like, I'm not interested in any of this. And unfortunately, people forget you can untag people in threads, right? The way Twitter is set up is just crap, right? So, April Van Ryan for 5 Canadian. Thank you, April. I do appreciate it. Like I said, I'm funding a lot of stuff here. So super chats, PayPal, GoFundMe, Patreon. Patreon especially. It's going to be huge for me. I'm really, like I said, I'm involved in now 2 lawsuits. So it's well, my hair is just I'm having a hell of a time today. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I mean a moderator because Smitty curses. So, Jay says, "All the love for you, Steve. Love you, boo boo. Thank you." Didn't you say something on Twitter the other day? I was like, at 2. I was like, did you just do me 2 there, Jay? What was it? I don't know what it was, but thank you for that pick me up there. I don't really want to check DMs right now. Do I have to? Should I make Intrigue Feline a mod again? I mean, I don't know how I can't make her a mod because she's always here. So I'm going to make her a mod because she literally shows up for every stream. I don't know when she sleeps. I just don't. So April Van Ryan, for 5 Canadian says, "Don't pick me as a mod." LOL. Yeah, I'm gonna try to minimize. No, it wasn't you. Who was it? That was you. Oh well. Oh, maybe it was Darkbringer. I don't know. Maybe it was. But anyways, yeah, exactly. EMP says they're off that dopamine hit, thinking they've achieved something productive when it's a side effect of their social ineptness. Yeah. These people are. I mean, I've read some of their comments, and I won't even say whose page I went to the other day, because people were like, "Oh man, they talk about you every day." I went there and I was like, "Holy crap, you guys ain't kidding." When you say that they discuss me every single day, all day long, you're not joking, are you? I mean, I was like, well, I mean, yeah, I see a tweet every now and then, but no, their entire Twitter is dedicated to me, and I'm like, wow, that's impressive, especially because they get everything wrong. I mean, like everything freaking wrong. I watched a video by EKC People Suck on a translations video dealing with one of Unirocks video. And she was spot on, by the way. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Again, as usual, got nothing right. Absolutely nothing right. And it's weird that he thinks he's so great in his deductive reasoning, because his deductive reasoning was absolutely flawed because his conclusion was not correct. If you have a deductive argument, as we know, oh, I know what it is. My hair, I know it was bothered. My hair was stuck in my glasses. That's what it was. Wow. Okay. At my age, I can't afford to lose any, but whatever. Surgeon General has become a new hole. Thank you, Surgeon General, for becoming a new hole. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Oh, he gets a green color name. So if you become a member, that helps too. So members or Patreon, either or. Patreon is the best, but obviously members get more benefits. Obviously in the live chat, you get a little green thing to become a member. So, and I will be streaming far more often than usual, hopefully. As long as there's something of interest to talk about. I'm not just going to feed off drama. But speaking of which, let's dive into this. So as you guys know, I still do watch occasionally First Amendment audit videos. And one of the channels I do watch is a channel called Amagansett, and I cannot pronounce this name. Just A Press. I don't know why I can't say their name. I even practice. You guys know me. I have a hard time pronouncing things. Jason, so Jason and his son, right? And Amagansett Press. There we go, Amagansett Press, and I think they do a pretty good job. Again, every auditor has their own unique way of doing things. I still am on the fence about auditing as a whole. I see benefits for it. I'll also see issues with it. But if you're going to audit, I think you should do it at least in a non-aggressive way, right? At least you're not the one going out there trying to provoke stuff. You're just filming and seeing what happens. And I understand that. Nothing wrong with that. And I think that's what they do. They generally go out and they just film and then see what happens, right? Okay. So I was like, interesting. I don't watch a lot of channels. People know there's not a lot of channels I do watch out there. So when I say I binge, it's usually impressive when I binge. Yeah. So Jason and Watching the Watchers, isn't it called Watchmen? Watching the Watchmen. Gob, is that his son's name? Who just turned 18. So happy birthday to him. Not they have any idea who I am or what this channel. They'll never watch this. I guarantee it. Yeah, I'm a fan of Jason. So I heard the other day that he got arrested, and I was like, okay, well, did he do something stupid? Was there an altercation? And you never know, and you never know why police arrest people. And as you guys know, I'm not disliking of police. I think police have a very difficult job. Do I distrust them? To a certain degree. I think a lot of police forces are improperly, staffed and funded. And I look, and I am kind of for defunding police a little bit, but that doesn't mean not give money to police, right? Defunding the police is more of a reallocation of funding. So you put the money more in the infrastructures and the homeless and the housing and the food and things of that nature. So you have lower crime, so you need less police out there, and you have less cases for caseworkers or things of that nature. When you have a caseworker and they have like 5 times what they can handle, then nobody gets any effective counseling done or services done. So the system is overtaxed, and it's not about the money, it's about the allocations. But I see a lot of police officers do stupid shit, to say the least. I don't know if it's just lack of training, or they just are just not good people. Because if you think about it, just because you're a police officer doesn't mean all of a sudden you grow a conscience or you become ethical. But you're sworn there to uphold the law, period. Whether you agree with the law or not, you're kind of sworn to uphold it. And I mean, you have some personal leeway. Most police officers have the ability to kind of decide what they want to do to a certain degree. If they want to, force an arrest, or there's not force an arrest, but force the issue and arrest the person, they determine these things on site, right? And they're given the power to do that because they've been trained to do so. And we, as a society, have given them the empowerment to do that, right? Which is perfectly fine. I mean, as a society, we give various occupations certain privileges. A doctor has the privilege to do medicine. A surgeon has the privilege to perform surgery. Why? Because we give them the empowerment to do that. Judges have the ability to reign over people as far as judicial matters. Why? Because we give them the power to do that, because they learn the law. They go to school for it. My background was nuclear powered. So I could operate a nuclear power plant. Why? Because I was trained to do so. And I was qualified. I did the qualifications to operate, a nuclear power plant, at least in the secondary plant. I had to learn about the primary stuff. But I was never a control rod operator. I didn't shim the control rods, in and out, except for the quals. But, as far as the actual reactor room, that's what was my area. But, as a society, we give people the empowerment to do so. And police are definitely those kinds of people. But I think that, we have to face the reality that just because they wear a uniform doesn't mean they're good people. It doesn't mean that they are actually there to protect the citizen. Matter of fact, I remember correctly, in New York, they came out and said, "Protect and serve" is this merely a motto? Yeah, they don't really have to serve anything. They don't have to protect you. It's not their job to protect you. I'm like, well, then whose is it? I don't know. But I was watching this. I watched this video and I was like, wow, this is a bunch of BS. Jason did absolutely. I'm going to just say it right up front. For the Too Long Didn't Read version, Jason did absolutely nothing wrong. Like, absolutely nothing wrong. I'm not going to wait for you to watch the video to determine that. It's just objectively, what the hell did he do wrong? I can't see anything. Well, I guess it is subjective, but yeah, I think it's subjective because I can't see a damn thing. There's just, what did he do wrong? So we're going to watch the video together a little bit. We're going to watch the last portion of it. It's not a long video, so I kind of is going to watch the last third of it because the first part is just him filming the UPS store. So I'm going to give you just a lead in. He was out, I think it was in Florida, was it? And he was in front of the FedEx building. And there was a sheriff that came up, or there's a worker that comes up and talked to him, which happens every video. And by the way, how does that happen? I'm telling you, I could go to, I'm never going to do a First Amendment audit, but if I ever did, I'd be out there for 4 hours and nobody would give a shit. Nobody would care. Nobody would give me shit. Nobody would probably even ask me what I'm doing, where I'm at. Nobody would care. Nobody cared. But Jason goes out there and other auditors go out there, and everywhere they go, somebody goes, "What you doing?" "I'm filming." Why? None of your business. I mean, again, I'm a little more respectful than that. I mean, I understand why Jason doesn't want to tell, and I'm not saying Jason's disrespectful, but Jason doesn't want to tell people what he's doing right off the bat. I get it, right? I totally understand that. But there are First Amendment auditors that just go, well, real nasty right off the bat. Well, yeah, none of your business. Well, obviously, then you're already setting a negative tone, and you're, I think going for more views, right? If I was doing a First Amendment audit, I would be saying exactly what either Jason says. Either A, and I'm doing a video, I'm videography, or just be like, well, I'm not at really liberty to say right now, but I'll tell you when I'm done, like he does, which is great. I mean, you have to alleviate the fears. There's nothing wrong with people wondering what's going on. People have a natural curiosity, and the First Amendment auditors know this. They utilize that fact for videos, for views. Again, nothing wrong with that. Look, it's a market for that. Absolutely a market for that. It's how you go about doing it. And so he will go out there and, just film it from a public place. And of course, every single time he gets accosted by somebody, he gets stopped, he gets asked. Like literally every time. I mean, I'm sure there's many ones that he doesn't, and he doesn't put those on air. I get that, right? But I mean, he's put out one every couple of days, so it has to be pretty frequently that this happens. And so he's outside the UPS store, and one of the workers came out there and started talking to him, and it didn't really go too well. Jason's just like, look, I'm on a public sidewalk filming, which, by the way, we all know you can do. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And he decided to call the sheriffs. Again, wasting manpower. I am sorry, but in this day and age, if you live in America and you have to call the cops for somebody filming on a public sidewalk, you failed Civics 101. You failed just basic understanding of the First Amendment. I mean, who does this? It makes absolutely no sense that there are so many people that call the cops on these people. Now, again, it's good view. I watched this video, and so did tens of thousands of people. I had like 30,000 views already, and it was just published last night. Why? Because, you know, we're like outraged by this stuff. We do take it personally. I take it personally. As somebody who was ex-military, I literally put my life on the line to defend this country and the First Amendment and the protect the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Anybody who's been in the military swears an oath to that, right? So, you know, it is a little bit personal, but we watch, and so I do watch them, and I like to see. By the way, if Jason ever does watch this, which again, very, very unlikely, but if he does ever watch it, I actually like the fact that he puts up both types of videos. He puts out the videos where the people do a great job, and he puts out the videos where there's obviously a problem. And you know what? I think I like both of them pretty equally. I actually feel really good when he has a really good interaction with people, and I have hope for humanity, right? Because people know things are crap all over. I'm really disillusioned about humanity, to say the least, more than I ever been in my entire life, in my entire existence. At this time and place in my life, I'm severely disillusioned by people. And so when I see a video where somebody does the right thing, it makes me feel good, right? I mean, when somebody does something sweet or nice for somebody, it makes me feel good. I've been watching like comedy videos, you know. I've been watching old British stuff, and I've been watching, you know, British skits and America's Got Talent, funny comedians, that kind of stuff, because it gets my dopamine levels going, my serotonin levels going, and I enjoy that content. It's funny, right? So we watch these things and these videos because we like to see both sides. We like to see the good cops and the bad cops. So what we're about to see is, my opinion, bad cops. Matter of fact, I assume that there's a channel called Audit the Audit, and I love Audit the Audit. I really do. That guy does the best breakdowns I've ever seen. And I didn't put his channel in the video description. My apologies, because I didn't think I was going to mention him, but I will add that in after the fact. But if you really want to go watch somebody who breaks down video auditing, or excuse me, First Amendment auditing of their videos, go check out Audit the Audit. That guy is just spot on. He does his research much more than I will ever get into. I'll be talking about First Amendment auditing and some other stuff on this channel, but yeah, that guy goes into huge detail. But this will be on there eventually, I'm sure. And I bet you money he gives these guys an F. And I've only heard him say a couple times, well, if there's anything lower than an F, he would give that like an F minus or E or whatever, but he only goes down to F on his scale. These guys will get a straight out F, if not anything lower. There was just no redeeming thing that they did right whatsoever. But like I said, that's my opinion. That's going to lead in. So we're going to watch this. Hopefully you guys can hear and see it. Let's change over here. So like I said, this is a lead in right here. It's already kind of queued up a little bit. It's 19 minutes 22 seconds in, where the supervisor comes in. He's already talked to the first officer in the middle there, and then the supervisor standing off to the side pulls up. So we're going to kind of go from there. And it looks like my audio was working earlier for you guys for hearing on the outside, but let me know just in case. So here we go. And I'll be stopping every, you know, like I usually do. So here we go.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Good, how we doing, sir?
Yeah, what's going on?
Good. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, well, you're across from school with your camera.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Give it a G. G. I'm sorry, Smitty. Yeah, A, B, C, D, F, right? I skipped a letter. My bad. Yeah, it would be G. See, I'm telling you guys, I am slipping. I am slipping so bad lately. Wow. This is why I keep Smitty around, because he's not afraid to point that stuff out. Everybody else is scared to death. I don't want to make Steve mad. I don't want to, you know, tell Steve he's wrong. No, just actually my audience, all they do is tell me I'm wrong. So thank you, Smitty.
Cameras, we're just trying to figure out what's going on with you.
Across from school, what?
Across from the school with
Oh, okay.
cameras.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Across from the school with
Yeah.
cameras? Well,
Yeah.
All right. So what does that mean?
Well, to be honest with you, there's actually a Florida statute in reference to the 500-foot safety zone of the schools.
Okay.
And we're just trying to figure out who's... You have to admit that you're kind of suspicious looking out here across from school,
You
right?
think I'm suspicious looking?
Well, not you personally, sir. Your activities.
Okay, so again, most of what I'm going to be saying is what I've just derived from watching these videos, and especially Audit the Audit, because he does a really good job. But I still don't understand what's suspicious about filming. I live not too far from LA. I mean, I could literally see the downtown LA if I walk outside right now. What is suspicious? I mean, people film all the time. I mean, tourists, you've got filming crews, you got videographers. What is suspicious about filming? I'm sorry, I'm not scared of somebody's filming. I'm scared of somebody who doesn't have a camera who's going to do something nefarious, right? I mean, it's not the people that you have to worry about with the camera. I don't know. Have you guys think of any crime that was committed, of any severity where the person's carrying around a camera beforehand? Very rarely. It happens. Don't get me wrong. People have filmed their own stupid stuff. But it's really, really, really rare. And even then, it doesn't really affect, a person personally. It's usually, like they it's a called altercation or something like that. But I mean, still, it's generally, these people that commit crimes are not going to go around with a camera to film themselves. It does happen, but not very often, right? And most of these places already have security cameras. I would bet you money there's a security cam pointed exactly at them right now from UPS. I mean, almost, with certainty, there's going to be street cameras, any type of federal building. There's cameras all over the place. We live in a society that has lots of cameras. I mean, where I work has cameras. You walk outside, there's cameras. Everything you do outside the privacy of your own house is filmed. And even where I'm living right now, there's cameras outside and inside. So we just have to get used to that as a society. Matter of fact, one of the things I've talked about before is that there's no society that has perfect security and perfect safety. I mean, perfect security and perfect freedoms. Why? Because you have to give a little bit of your freedoms up for security and safety. You can't have 100% of both. It's not possible. One must go down for the other to go up. If your safety is going down, then your First Amendments, and your freedoms are going up. But if your freedoms are going down, then your security is going up, right? So if you got rid of all the cameras, you lose your security to increase your freedoms, but it's a trade-off, right? But I don't understand what's suspicious about it. The police have a right to investigate. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they need to come out of call, but I don't think suspicion, really makes much of a difference.
I'm working on a video about UPS.
Okay, well, that's all you had to tell the man. That's what he was asking.
Okay, well, that's all you had to tell the man. That's what he was asking.
Well, I think it's...
All right, so right there, and again, I'll be stopping this a lot, so my apologies, but that's how I do this. He's exactly right. At that point, and again, everything I say is my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a police officer. None of that. But at this point, he has alleviated their concerns. He has told them, hey, this is what I'm doing. Okay, at that point, they could put two and two together and go, here's a guy with this, son, which I know he didn't know at this point, but two people out here with cameras. They're filming stuff, and they say they're doing it for a video. Okay. Is there anything arrestable there? No. Is there anything actionable? No. Any crimes being committed? No. Now, he's trying to say there's a statute, and I have that, and I'll pull that up eventually here. But is he in violation of that? No, we find out that he's not. But, even he says that he's not being detained coming up here. So it's really odd that he's like, you're in violation of the statute when he's already told him what he's doing. Because that statute is for people that don't have a purpose. He has told him his purpose now. So Jason, right there. I mean, this probably will go to court. I mean, he says he's going to sue, and absolutely should. He's won a case before against a post office of $10,000, which they didn't fight. And I think this one's even more egregious than that one by far. This is one of the most egregious arrests I've ever seen, as far as just being arrested for absolutely no reason.
It's obvious. I actually don't have to tell him anything. I don't have to tell you anything. I'm trying to be courteous with you.
Okay, well, I don't think I'm being rude to you at all, sir.
I didn't say you were.
Okay.
And can I ask name and badge number, please?
Yeah, actually, I'm Sergeant Granger, number 48.
Okay.
43,
and can I get your
43.
43. And can I get your name and badge number there?
Derek Swan, 128.
I couldn't hear you last name.
Derek Swan, 128.
Thank you,
so
sir.
you'll know, the guy from UPS, he called me on my phone. So.
Well, then why don't you go speak to him?
Sir, I came out to speak to you. You would not answer. You're saying more now than you did earlier.
Well, yeah, and we got to skip that part, but yeah, sure, but he's not required to say anything. And this is what we talked about the other day with the Rittenhouse case, when the prosecuting attorney had tried to bring it up, that Rittenhouse didn't say anything when he got arrested. He invoked his Fifth Amendment, and he took that as a sign of guilt, which the judge rightly admonished him on and said, hey, look, this is first-year law. you cannot hold somebody that invokes the Fifth Amendment, which you do, by the way, have to articulate. You have to enunciate that you are invoking the Fifth Amendment. Just remaining silent is not conveyed to anyone that you are invoking your Fifth Amendment. You have to verbally announce it of some kind, or, write it. If you can't speak, write it down. Some way to let them know you're invoking your Fifth Amendment. And the police, the judge had admonished the prosecuting attorney in that case that, look, that what you did was slimy, basically. And it was. It was. You don't have an obligation to talk to the police about anything. No obligation whatsoever. Right? You don't have to do their work for them. Now, it's a trade-off. If you think that what you tell them is sufficient to, alleviate their fears and move on with their life and get out of the situation, I get that, right? Sure. I mean, if it's something really simple, whatever, and you don't incriminate yourself, it's a trade-off. But I mean, if you think that you have officers that are just not going to listen to you, or that are not fulfilling their oath, as I guess First Amendment auditors would word it, then yeah, you have no obligation to speak to them in any ways whatsoever, in any capacity. So he didn't like the way this first officer was being talked, kind of like coming up to him, and he just said, "I don't want to talk to you." Okay. At that point, the officers probably should have said, "Okay, well, I can see you're filming out here. You don't look like you're nefarious. I'll make a report out of here. That somebody's out here. Doesn't even have to get his name or nothing." Oh my goodness! Amagansett Press just showed up in my live chat. Holy crap! I'm speechless. I'm honored. So wow. Yeah. I know what to say. I don't know where to go from this. That was not expected. So hopefully I can do this justice, and I'm going to carry on like it's not there so I can get through this. But as I was saying, you don't have any obligation to speak to the police officers. That doesn't mean be a dick to them, right? I mean, it just means, look, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment, especially when you're driving down the street. Look, I haven't driven in a lot of years, and I am trying to go get my license. I got to get back on the road, and I'm scared to do so, to be honest with you. And I'm not talking like just trepidation. I mean, I'm talking almost a phobia of driving nowadays. I've not driven in probably 4 years, maybe 5 years. And, watching these videos and seeing the way the police officers treat people, I got to tell you, I have a legit phobia to even talk to an officer. Before I get pulled over, whatever, you get a ticket, you're on your merry way, right? But man, we see what happens nowadays. It goes way beyond that, and you have to tell yourself, am I going to, take the Fifth and not say anything and let them, do their thing? Or do I tell them exactly the case, and hopefully I don't incriminate myself, because you want to, you want to show your license and your registration and all that stuff, but you don't want to incriminate that you've done something wrong that can be used against you later on. So, all right, let's continue.
No one would say anything, so I call myself.
You're saying more now than you were saying earlier as well. Yeah, you are. Well, it's all on video. So, can I help you gentlemen with anything?
I do love that. It's all on video.
We're just trying to figure out what was going on. So you're across the street from the school, and then Florida statute actually forbids people from being within 500 feet of the school without legitimate purpose.
That's not true.
It's not?
No.
Okay.
So every one of these cars driving down this street that doesn't have a legitimate purpose at the school is violating a statute?
They have.
Yeah, see, and I love the way you put that, because one thing, who decides what a legitimate purpose is? Right? I mean, who decides the legitimacy of what you're doing? I could be standing right where that officer's standing, right? I could be standing there. I could be enjoying the view. That's a legitimate purpose. Well, it's aesthetics. People know I love philosophy. People know I like aesthetics. People know I love music and art. Why? Because I'm appreciative of it. I mean, I could just sit out there and just stand all day long on that public sidewalk. Again, public sidewalk. And it's just for me, just my own sanity. Did I want to look and enjoy the beautiful day? How is that not a legitimate purpose? If I'm doing it for my own well-being, that to me is a legitimate purpose. I don't want a judge or a jury to determine for me what is a legitimate purpose. Now, does that statute exist? Yes. Do I think it got overturned soon or recently? Yes. I don't know. Jason mentioned something about it, and hopefully in one of his future videos on it, he can kind of give details on that. But to me, that was unconstitutional, that statute. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving any legal advice. But to me, it did seem unconstitutional. So, okay, so going on here.
Have a legitimate purpose, sir. They're picking these kids up from school.
Not every one of them going down this street.
Okay. There actually is a statute in reference to that.
Oh, let me address my live chat real quick. And I'm really hoping that First Amendment auditors do watch this video that Jason put out, and my video as well, for my review. And let me know how I did. Maybe they can kind of critique my review, because I do want to do more of these. Because people know I started doing these First Amendment reviews on the Non Sequitur show. And we all know what kind of happened there. But Long story there. Jason, one of these days might be interested in that story of the non sequitur show, because if we ever get it back, it's going to be, hopefully an interesting channel again. But that's a different issue, and I don't want him to get involved too much in that, because it's a rabbit hole, to say the least. But Sean says, I'm all for auditing the police, Steve, but the USPS is kind of pointless from a First Amendment standpoint. Okay, let me address that, Sean. And by the way, if Amagansett Press, Jason kind of wants to message me, the email is above for non sequitur bookings. If he wants to email on that, I would love to have him as a guest on the non sequitur show if I get it back. He may not know this, but the non sequitur show interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people, name recognizable people, all have Wikipedia pages and stuff like that. Big guest, and we're going to be booking some big names again, hopefully. So I would love to have, if he would be so kind to be a guest, I would love to interview him on this. So if you can email that address above there. But Sean, okay, so for UPS, it's kind of pointless from a First Amendment standpoint. Well, why? USPS is the United States Postal Service, right? Or what was it, United States Postal Service? Yeah. But that's a company that ships a lot of stuff nationwide, and of course, you can ship things that can be dangerous. There could be threats to that building. A First Amendment object could be anywhere. It doesn't even have to be a public library or federal office or police office. It could be just standing on a corner somewhere, right? I mean, it's just doing something that is protected by the First Amendment. That's it. That's what a First Amendment audit is supposed to be. You're being protected for what you're doing because you have a constitutional right to do it. Now, I think the First Amendment auditors, there's good and bad. I know a few of them personally, obviously, because I've dealt with the subject before. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. And some of the ones that really scare me are the Second Amendment auditors that do a really crappy job. Now, Jason actually does Second Amendment auditing too, and I have never had an issue the way he does it. I was licensed to carry in Washington, as people know. Never once had it, besides the little issue I told you with the mall, where I was on private property and asked to stow my weapon. I never had an issue, and which I did, by the way. I stole my weapon. Why? Because they were right. And I just was like, okay, this is a private facility. So I stole my weapon. And he does the same thing. He doesn't go into these federal buildings with a gun and go, oh, look, I have a right to carry a gun. When you don't in certain buildings, he knows the difference. UPS. Yeah, UPS is a government contractor. Yeah, this was UPS, not USPS, wasn't it? It was UPS. And so it's a government contractor that works for the government as basically, they're not a government agency, but from what I understand, they're contractualized with the U.S. government. But there's probably some nuances there. But yeah, I mean, where you go to audit really doesn't matter. It just doesn't. It's just the point of you exercising your free speech. Again, even with the Second Amendment auditing, that's a lot more dangerous because with Second Amendment auditing, you're likely to get shot. Again, I mentioned the channel Audit the Audit. And I'd like to interview him one day too, because God, I'd like to know how he learned all this stuff. Because he's not a lawyer or anything like that. He just knows a lot of stuff. But there was a video that I watched just recently, and I know this is tangential, but I think it's important. Where this guy was going, he was a ATF agent, and he went to go serve. No, I don't think he was even serving a warrant. He just basically went out to the place to obtain a shotgun from a felon that wasn't supposed to have the weapon. And the lady at home, called the police on him. And the police came out and they arrested him. Now, I don't think he was too smart, because instead of going with them, just saying, look, I'm going to comply, and look, I'm a federal agent. He said, let me show you my ID. They wouldn't let him. He kind of escalated it, right? I mean, he kind of, did not comply with the orders of the police. From what I understand, again, I'm not a legal expert, but from what I understand, local jurisdictions for police do have authority to arrest even FBI, or at least to have jurisdiction over them in certain circumstances. So if they see somebody get a call out for attempted breaking and entering, which was this case for the ATF agent, and they go out there and the guy is, knocking on the door, they have a right to investigate and tell him to get down on the ground. They have a right to do that. They have a right to even handcuff him for safety things if there's weapons involved. No problem with any of this stuff. But at that point, it should have been over. But it wasn't. I mean, they escalated it. I think both the police and the ATF agent was out of line. But you guys can go check out that video. But my point being is that that guy could have got shot easily. Matter of fact, he had the weapon drawn. The police officer had the weapons drawn pretty much as soon as they got there. And nowadays, we know police tend to shoot first, ask questions later. right? I mean, that's what scares me. And nobody, when I grew up, do you guys remember way back when? I mean, Jason's my age. I mean, he's a little bit older, I think, but not much. I know I'm pushing 52 here. But I'm sure he can tell you that in our day and age, it was like, hey, you know, police officers are your friend, right? You need help, go to a police officer. I learned that wasn't always the case very early as a teen, as most of us do, which is a shame because there's a lot of good cops out there. But nowadays, there's a I'm not gonna say paranoia of the cops, but there's the hell of distrust. Absolutely. A distrust of the police officers, and cops like this are the reason why. This guy right here is the reason why there's a distrust of him. Actually, I'd say both of the officers. So yeah, the Second Amendment auditors, wow, they're brazen. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but they take their lives in their own hands. So, you know, I personally wouldn't. Whatever.
And if you would like, I can get you the statute.
So anybody that does not have a legitimate purpose with what? With the school, or just a legitimate purpose in life?
Legitimate business being around the school.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. And so that's all we're trying to do is establish that. We're looking out for the safety of the kids.
What, do you know what the statute number is on that?
No, but I can look it up for you.
Yeah, I'd love to read it.
Absolutely.
Sure, appreciate you. Thank you.
Now, I do have that statute. I did look it up to save you guys a little time.
Got a Florida statute. You can't be
that.
within 500 feet of a school without legitimate purpose.
All right, let's look at that statute because I do have it here. So this is the one that they were talking about. It was 810.0975 of the 2021 Florida statute, school safety zones. Now, again, I have a 16-year-old daughter. I understand school safety is necessary, right? No problem with having certain things that I think enforce school safety. But this the way this worded, to me, seems unconstitutional. Now, I don't know if there was a ruling or not. I think Jason mentioned there was a ruling. I don't know the details on that. Maybe, like I said, he could give that in a future video. And if he wants to shout this video, be more than appreciated. I'm not going to do a lot with First Amendment auditing, but I think I'm going to be doing some more about it, along with my other videos. But the statute says, during the period from 1 hour prior to the start of a school session until 1 hour after the conclusion of a school session, it is unlawful for a person to enter the premises or trespass within a school safety zone or to remain on such premise or within a school safety zone when that person does not have a legitimate business in the school safety zone or any other authorization, license, or invitation to enter or remain in the school safety zone. Okay, so first of all, it doesn't say 500 feet exactly in there, so I know it's above there. If you look at the very first one, it says for the purpose of the section, the school safety zone means in or within 500 feet of any real property owned or leased to any public or private elementary, middle, or high school or school board and used for elementary, middle, or high school education. So you got to look at the above one to find that it's 500, which I did, so it's right there. This is a little vague to me. Because again, I really have a hard time when people say don't have a legitimate business. And by the way, I do have a phone call. Did I not put in the number there? If people want to call in and weigh on this, please. I believe I put the phone number down at the bottom right corner. If you want to call in. Oh, there's Watching the Watchmen too. Happy birthday, Watching the Watchmen. Finally an adult. Congratulations. You're gonna hate it. Yeah. Let me just tell you, it doesn't get any better, man. But I like Watching the Watchmen too. I like the fact they have two different camera angles, right? Because you get two different stories, right? You kind of get what Jason's doing, and you kind of get what his son's doing. So, yeah, Gary versus Cole, 2008, I think, determined that these types of things are unconstitutional. And there was also what was it? I don't remember the statute. I should know more about these statutes than I do. You think with all the legal cases I'm in, right? Because I'm suing two people. You think I would know more about the legalities of these things, but I only know the legalities dealing with my lawsuits, right? But from what I understand, loitering laws are most states have deemed them unconstitutional. The reason being is loitering laws, I think, in my opinion, and again, all this is my opinion, but I think we're actually just devised to have social class distinctions and to try to have poor people not be where people don't want them, and it's basically a catch-all crime. Because I mean, loitering is so subjective of what people mean by loitering. I mean, what is your purpose? Now, I can understand there are some reasons to have loitering to a small degree, right? I mean, in some cases, but I mean, it's so improperly worded and so vague and ambiguous that they are just a catch-all. And I don't like catch-all laws. I don't like laws that can be interpreted in multiple different ways just so somebody can get arrested, because that's what a lot of these things were worded to do. right, to arrest people basically on the whim of the officer because the officer has some problem with the person or something, or just because they want to. I mean, look at the Jim Crow laws and things of that nature, right? I mean, when you have laws that are basically up to the officer to kind of interpret, there's a problem there. Now, do I do think the officer should have arrest warrant? What's the word? Discretion? Yeah, absolutely. Right. But if you guys remember, there was two female officers at one time that had pulled a woman over she was going 80 in a 90 miles an hour zone. She was on her way to work. It was wet conditions. And the officer didn't know whether she should cite her for restless driving or arrest her for restless driving because of the conditions or give her a ticket. And the way that she determined that was using an app with a coin toss. What? Yeah. And they both got fired, right? As well as they should. But do you want your hands and your future in the hands of an app to determine whether you should be arrested for reckless driving or a ticket? No, that's not justice, right? So these kind of things worded like this, I think, really do have so much ambiguity that they serve no legitimate purpose. And also, Jason wasn't in violation of this. He did have a legitimate purpose. Yeah. Legitimate business. What was legitimate business? He was making a video. How much more legitimate do you need? Right? I mean, and one of the things that bothers me the most is he let the officers know right at the very beginning of this video. Right off the bat. What are you doing? Jason had told him, I'm making a video. Okay, that alleviates any suspicion. That's his business. You didn't have to tell him that. But no, I'm sorry. She was going 90 and she was going 80 she was going 80 or 90 in a 60 or something. She was going way over the speed limit. I think it was like 55 miles an hour speed limit, and she was going 80. Sorry, so 80 to 90, Smitty. Thank you for pointing that out. I misspoke. It happens. I do that frequently, as you guys know lately. All right, so let's go back to the video here.
That doesn't sound very constitutional.
It's not. See? I mean, Jason's like, it's not.
Does that sound constitutional to you, sir? See, there you go, clamming up again. I thought we were having a conversation now. If you're going to give me the silent treatment, I'm going to do the same right back at you. So do you want to be a gentleman and have the conversation? Or do you want to just be silent with each other? All right. Well then, I'll tell you to kick rocks. Have a nice day. Goodbye. Adios. Don't bother me anymore.
Yeah, and so this is notable too. So he points out that Florida also has a statute that allows you to resist without violence, any unlawful detention, walk away. It's passive resistance, right? If you aren't under an investigation and you're not being detained, yeah, you could walk away from a stop. I mean, we're not going to get into the whole legality of Terry stops and things of that nature, which one of these days I will get into. I think it's fascinating because the Terry case really set the precedence for a lot of this stuff. But he's absolutely right. I mean, if I'm not being detained, I'm free to go anywhere I want. And by the way, and I don't think I've ever heard Jason or his son say this. If they have, then I would criticize that as well. But I really cannot stand when a First Amendment auditor says, well, if I'm free to leave, I'm free to stay. That doesn't quite work that way. That's not logical. And people know most of my channel is dealing with philosophy and logic and reason and critical thinking. That's not actually logical. That's not the only two options. That's false dichotomy. You're free to leave, but if you're staying, you could be arrested. So yeah, that's not a good way you want to do it on. But yeah, he can walk away. Absolutely. Yeah. Kick rocks. See ya. Peace out. I'm gone. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
He's going to send you back to work in a minute, so you might as well just take off.
Yeah.
You're really not serving any function here.
Look where this officer's parked. Okay, and again, this might be a completely different issue, but police really do kind of have to conform with the same laws as everybody else. I mean, I understand when they're doing an investigation and there are things of that nature, they can get away with a little bit more, but there's no reason for that to be parked that way. None whatsoever. That is a safety violation in front of a school where people are picking up their kids. What the hell was he thinking? Like seriously, what the hell is the reason for him parking like this? This is a hazard. There's no reason for him to do it. Now, is he breaking the law? No, because he's on a stop. I get it. You know, cops can have a little bit of leeway when they're on a call. But when they're not, then they have to abide by the same rules of the road as anybody else. But yeah, this is stupid. This is really stupid the way he's parking. And this kind of gives me the mindset of this officer, because I don't know anything about him. I don't know his rank. I don't care. I don't know how long he's been in the force. But this was dumb, the way he was parking. And if I had a child that was in that school system, I would be so livid that he parked his car that way and put my child in danger, because you'll see these cars having to go around, and that's how accidents happen. Another reason why I'm scared to start driving again, because I just don't want to get in an accident. I've been in one minor accident or two, and none of them my fault, never. But they jolt you, they scare you, and I know horror stories, So yeah, this officer has major problems. Mr. Sirius out there, if you want to call in, like I said, I've got the line open there. So,
and a matter of fact, the light's better if I stand on this side, so I'll go back over here.
I'd love to get you guys' opinions on this live. I mean, look at that. Look at the way the cars are having to go around that. That lane is not that wide to begin with. It's not like a 4-lane divided highway. It's not even like a 2-lane divided highway. It is, just a 2-way street, 1 car length per lane, and you've got him sticking out, a good, what is I'm looking at this perspective here, maybe 2 feet, 12 feet, maybe, no, sorry, not 12 feet, 2 feet, 2 to 3 feet from the curb. Maybe, give or take, right? Which is significant. I think the most used to be like 18 inches, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. But I mean, he's out in that driveway. His ass end of his car is just going like this. And if you have a truck that comes along that requires a little bit more width to get by, it's going to be very difficult to do so. Oops. Lost my thing there. Okay, going back.
Seems like he's real concerned about safety.
Yeah, listen to Watching the Watchmen there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and look how he's blocking the street. Look
Real
how these
concerned about
cars have
safety
to
in
go
front of
around the
school.
back of this cop car right here, in front of a school at school dismissal time. So this truck can't even fit around him. Watch him go into
This
the other
really
lane.
did irritate me. I'm not fronting. You guys know me. I'm not led by emotions. When I have an emotion, it's visceral. This bothered me. I don't like this shit.
He does have his lights on. I'll give him that.
And you'll watch how fast this goes from 0 to 60 to escalate this so fast. It could have been all resolved and done, and they should have just moved on. And once they knew what was going on, they should have said, thank you very much, whatever, have a nice day, and be gone. But no, they don't. And I think there is a lawsuit to be had here. Absolutely. And I hope there is. These are the kind of officers that I don't like to see on patrol, because if they'll do it to him, they'll do it to anybody.
You'll notice every one of these cars is going into the opposing lane of traffic, trying to go around the back of this police car. Excuse me, sir. Hello? Oh. You need to ask him to move his car. Every one of these vehicles has to go around him into the opposing lane of traffic.
Yep.
You're going to wind up causing an accident here.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
If you're so
they
concerned
don't
about
fix
safety,
it.
I think you take that seriously.
They don't.
Thank you.
Oh,
That's why he knows more than you do, because he pays attention and listens.
so dismissive.
That's right, yeah. You just celebrate your ignorance and then think you're going to get away with that.
So dismissive.
Not cool, man.
I'm gonna stop real quick. Actually, I have somebody called. I don't know if it's Smitty or not, but hi, who's this?
Hello.
Hello, it is Smitty. I thought so. Thought I recognized that.
No, it's not Smitty.
I'm not Smitty. I'm sorry, Mr. Serious. Whatever. I get.
It is Mr.
After
Serious.
8 years, I'm not gonna keep everybody straight. Okay. I can't.
It's all right. I
Yeah.
think I got a little bit of a throat thing going on, so
You do sound a little off today.
you'll be forgiven.
Yes. you do
I am
sound
a little off today.
Yeah. You sound like a little horse in your throat there. So, anyways, did you watch this video before? Did you see Jason's video? Because I just came out So I'm not sure if you've had a chance to look at it, but what do you think so far?
I think that I will only watch First Amendment videos that are absolute shit shows. Like those are the ones that I watch frequently. I never watch ones that are just like done correctly. So usually my what do you call it? I got kind of a very biased representation of auditing.
See, I watch both, and that's why I'm saying I appreciate Jason puts both out there. I think both are productive.
I think so too. I think that this is a lot better than the stuff that I have seen. But a lot of times I see that people get confused a lot with this is something that I see a lot of people do. I see it in this one, and I see it with the ones that people do when they're in the bad ones. Like cops, they don't have any like obligation to enforce any constitutions, like zero. And everybody gets confused about that all the time. Like they take oaths and whatever. That's all nonsense. Forget it. Forget it. That's all absolute nonsense. Like don't even just forget about that. They have specific like books that they have to follow and regarding like codes and all that stuff. And whenever that gets updated, do you know what they don't do? They don't go, oh, just follow the Constitution. That'll point you in the right direction. They never say that.
I mean, look, the Constitution, the original things that we have for the Constitution, the First Amendment, has been interpreted many times by courts over and over again, right? I mean, the original. I have the actual Constitution here. It is the Constitution from 1789 revised. Last revision was 1992, and it says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridgment of the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Now, that has been interpreted countless times to the court, and it has been canon about how this is interpreted. It's not, it's not all encompassing, right? I mean, there are limitations on what you can say. There are actual laws in the books in some states about hate speech. There's actually laws about aggressive speech, as far as like you threatening people, right? They're called what kind of something words? Oh my goodness, what's the term? Certain words that considered to be provocative that are not covered in free speech. I mean, we all know you can't yell fire in a crowded theater and kind of stuff like that, but one of the foundations is even if you don't have a specific rule, statute or law or things of that nature, you can always go back and think to yourself, look, is this person exercising a free speech? Is there doing something that is in violation of the Constitution? That's it. That should be a very fundamental question to ask, which these officers clearly didn't ask themselves.
Well, I mean, I've always tried to exercise charity like in all directions, and my guess is that this cop is not exercising any charity when it comes to who's doing this audit?
This is Jason and his son from Amagansett Press, one of the few channels that I watch almost religiously. At least, like I said, this is the first time he's ever heard of me, I'm sure.
My guess is that they think that this person is an absolute like pervert or pedophile or something, taking little kid videos.
See, I don't think they do. No, I have to disagree. I don't think the cop for a second thought that. Because first of all, it wasn't aiming that way. Second of all, it's very clear that it was the UPS guy that the UPS guy that called the sheriffs. It was them just saying, hey, they're photographing our building, so they know that wasn't the case. That's not. There's no way that they would even think that. That's just crap. So. I don't buy it for a second that those officers were thinking that, because on the call itself, and I'm sure that they're eventually going to under the FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, they're going to get these calls and they're going to get exactly what was said. And I'm almost positive, of course, they're going to say, hey, look, we have people out here that are filming our building. Why else would they call? I guarantee they didn't call up and go, hey, these people are on the sidewalk filming kids. That would be a false report. I think that would be actually filing a false police report. So yeah, I don't think they didn't go out there for that. Matter of fact, they didn't even say that. If they would have had that in the call, they would have gone out there and said that. They would have said, "Look, we got a report of some kind of creepy perv, filming kids or something." That's not what they said. They said we got a call.
Well, that's what the cops made it into.
Well, of course. Hey, fun fact: cops lie, and fun fact: cops are allowed to lie. Right? I mean, that has been standing canon in statutes for a very long time. Cops are allowed to lie to you. Yeah, it's
like
crap.
yeah, the guys out here pretending to shoot at the UPS building, but the school is right there, so that's obviously what he's really doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that again, when a cop has to do mental gymnastics in order to arrest somebody or to find a reason to harass or accost somebody, they're not doing their job. As a matter of fact, most police districts, they have something in their handbooks that even say, look, we want our officers to be not rude, and we want them to be courteous, they want to be polite, they want them to respect the public and the public to respect them. If you have to fabricate stuff, you shouldn't be respected. I'm suing somebody because they lied. I'm suing somebody because they didn't respect me. They didn't respect my I don't want to say fans, but my followers of the Non Sequitur show, right? The Non Sequitur show had how many tens of thousands of fans, right? The people that I'm involved in that lawsuit, they didn't respect that, right? They didn't respect that at all. They had to lie. I mean, we know they lied. We know Kyle lied under oath multiple times. Why? Because he didn't respect the fans. So I have a hard time with that. I don't like that at all, that cops can lie to people. Do I understand why? Yeah, I guess so. But it has to be cognitive of that at all times, that when you're talking to an officer, they're not there for your best interest. They're there to make their lives easier. They want to have the information for the reports because they might have something in their jurisdiction or their district that says, hey, look, you when you do a report, you must have this information. And if the person doesn't give you that information, they get kind of penalized for it and docked. But you know what? That's not my problem. That's a cop problem. That's the police department's problem. That's not my problem. I don't have to give my information if I'm not doing anything wrong. You don't have to show somebody your license or information if you're not doing anything. It's only when you're have a reasonable, what they call it, a reasonable articulable suspicion of something, or if you're driving. I mean, there are reasons why you have to give your information. That's fine. But in this particular case, he didn't have any requirement, none whatsoever, to give him any information about himself. And he even said at some point going further on here that he's not detained. If you're not detained, then clearly you don't need to give anything, right? So let's follow this along. I know you're watching on the outside. You can't see on the inside of the call here. So let's kind of follow this along from the outside.
That's why he's your boss.
This is correct.
That is correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're probably about my age, man. You better hurry up and get those stripes on you before you can't.
Yeah, this guy's, he's probably our age, and it doesn't look like he has much rank. Like I said, I was never officer, but I was military, and I made E6 under 6 years, and I know a lot of people don't know what that means, but that means I advanced really fast. I only missed the first time because there's only so many positions. Not that I did bad on the test, I excelled in everything, but there's only so many billets to be filled. And so advancement in the military is hard. It is not easy. Making E6 under 6 is pretty difficult. Not impossible, obviously, because I did do it, but it's not the average. It usually takes about 10 to 12 years to make E6, if I had to guess. If you're in 20 years and you're still in E3 or E1 or E2, you probably picked the wrong profession, or you got busted, right? You got broke down a few times and they busted you. By the way, if Jason or Son's still out there listening, like to get their input so far, what they think, if they agree or they disagree. That's what this channel's about: agreeing, disagreeing, and having these discussions. Because I really like to know different people's viewpoints of things. So if they're out there, let me know so far what they think.
I just have a feeling that they think that this cameraman, his name's Jason. Yeah. I have a feeling that they think he's an absolute piece of shit. Like that's why they're not moving. That's why.
They did. So what? That's
why they're willing to.
But there's no law against
that.
That's
why. Well, of course there's not, but that's why they're willing to take up traffic, and I mean that they think that. Like that's why I'm sticking with. I think that they think that he's like we're trying to record children. Like they are making this up in their mind, of course, but they are like they want. Like they just really want this to be like they're saving kids. That's why they're not leaving, because they're going to be saving kids, sticking around or something.
I could not disagree with you more, because I've watched a lot of these videos, and these officers do not think that. These officers are just having a power trip. These officers may not like him. And look, I'm sure Jason would probably be the first to admit there are probably people out there that are not huge fans of his. But so what? That's no reason to escalate. Matter of fact, again, in most departments, it's in their handbook that officers have to de-escalate. And these officers are not de-escalating.
I think the idea that they're saving kids is part of a power trip. Like, I think that's exactly what it is. That's like making themselves out to be heroes, but that's not what any of this is.
Yeah, I don't see it. I just don't see it. But let's continue.
Unless you want to retire with a lower pension on purpose for some reason.
Oops. This is like I said, I like to have two filming angles. I think his son's probably holding the camera there.
Safety concern here with the way he's parked.
Or he's just has it on his tripod or something.
Can I get you to do me a favor before we continue this conversation? Absolutely. Can you just move over a couple of feet so all these people don't have to go into the opposing lane of traffic?
Florida statute 810.909.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
I'm trying to come up with any reason in my head why he can't move that car.
None. No. Just power trip. I mean, it. He should. He should have said, "Hey, look. You're right. If I'll move it, or we're going to be leaving. So here's my card or whatever, and leave. Right? Yeah, it's a tripod. Okay, so it's a tripod. But yeah, his concern was clearly not for the safety of anybody. None.
I'm happy to talk to you, but can you just move it over?
Like, okay, so I'm thinking to myself, move it all the way in the dirt. Okay, it might get stuck. Okay, so maybe have two wheels on the road. All right, I can buy that. All right, how about this? Move it. Like, I saw that there was like a little driveway in the UPS thing. Nobody's moving in or out right now. Maybe move it up there and then move it again if somebody wants to pull in. Okay. No big deal. Do that. That'd be probably the best way to do it. But then he'd be like, well, then I'd have to move it. But it's still better than this situation.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I have no explanation. And maybe that will be brought up in future legal proceedings with them. Because like I said, I believe that they are taking them to court. And that I will be monitoring that. I will be following that. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Because I do like when there's actions. Again, I think people should follow up. Again, if I didn't, I wouldn't be in two legal matters myself, right? I'm suing people because they've done me and people wrong. And that's one of the reasons why I have my GoFundMe, which again is back up. Link is in the video description. I know a lot of you have already donated to the GoFundMe, and I thank each and every one of you. I've thanked each person individually for that. And and by the way, I mean, I completely believe, without a doubt, there's no way I'm going to get to 20,000. I understand that. But if I'm really, my goal is 10,000. But anything over that's fine. And there might be some other people out there that are doing pretty well that might want to help out. We're going to be trying, but again, we have several months to do that. But yeah, I sued because I was in the right? And I don't like bullies. I don't like people lying to other people. I don't like people lying for views. I don't like people lying under oath. It just makes a mockery of the system. And unfortunately, the system sucks. The system's broke. Yeah, so I mean, I think maybe we'll find out more about that during the lawsuit if it ever gets brought up about why this guy didn't care about safety, because I am curious, but let's got to make it through a little bit more. And by the way, this is a multi-line thing. It's if you guys want to call in, just call in. It won't kick Mr. Serious out or anything. So I'd like to, Jeff, if you want to call in, I see you're out there. I do like to get your guys' opinions on this stuff.
To the opposing lane of traffic.
I'm telling you what the statute
if you're worried about
requested.
safety. All right, you've given it to me.
Okay.
That's just for my reference. I'm not violating your statute.
No, that actually is a statute that you're in violation of.
I'm not in violation of any statute.
Okay, look, what we're
I'm
going to
here,
do.
I have a legitimate business purpose.
Okay, what is that? That's what we're trying to figure out.
He already told him what his legitimate purpose is. This is what kills me. He literally said in the very beginning of the interaction with this officer, I'm filming UPS. I'm doing a video. He's a videographer. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he was a professional videographer, like an actual videographer. This is what he's done. I mean, so it's not like he was just a YouTuber either, filming out something. Because again, I would love to do man on the street kind of stuff. I really, 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 really hope to one of these days be able to get out there at a certain time and talk to people in real life. I have to get over certain things first because it's just like I don't want to socialize. But once I do, I really want to talk to people in real life rather than doing interviews and discussions online. Don't forget, I do have the discussion with James is Tired tonight on his channel. And that's going to be on atheism, agnosticism, theism, religion, just that kind of stuff. So.
About you,
I have a guess about how those rules apply here, and it's probably the reason why it's so vague. My guess is because it's probably listed in another like set of like rules like regarding how public like laws are like set and all this stuff. Like it's probably just a set of rules that lie on top of another set of rules that lie on top of another set of rules, and if you put them all together, it makes sense or something.
But not in my mind.
Right. But my guess is like if he was to film UPS on their property, then he would not be under the jurisdiction of the 500 yard or feet rule of the school. But because he's in like public area, he is or something.
But that's just a MacGuffin thing. That's just a freaking plot thing. That's all that is. I mean, he could have gone around the corner and been, let's say, 600 feet away, and they would have found something. These guys were clearly looking for something to get him on. And which again, if an officer has to go out of their way to find something wrong, they're not doing their job. They're not de-escalating. They're escalating. And so no, he was definitely looking for something.
I mean, I mean that could be the case. I hope it's not. I would hope it's not the case. Well, I would hope that it wouldn't be the case that they were doing that. But I mean, as far as I've seen how Florida makes rules about their schools, I would. I mean, they're dumb as hell.
It's Florida.
So
I lived in Florida. I literally went to school in Orlando.
So I'm not shocked about this weird ass like school ruling.
Yeah.
So
not one of my favorite states. The only redeeming thing about Florida is
that it's so far on the edge of America that we don't have to pay attention to them much.
Nope. The only redeeming thing about Florida is Christy Santiago.
Oh yeah, that's right. Why is she over there?
That's where
did she leave Florida? Is she still in Florida?
She's in Florida, from what I understand. Is she?
We need to rescue her.
Yeah, tell me about it, right? But yeah, she makes any state my favorite state. That's because she's Christy Santiago. All right, let's continue here.
Okay.
I'm a photojournalist and I'm working on a story about UPS. Never filmed over at the school for a second.
Yep.
So I have a very legitimate purpose. I'm not violating your statute.
Do you have your ID so we can verify?
You
don't need the ID. He already told him what he was doing. And man, I'm telling you, he's got a hell of a case. I'm again not a lawyer, not giving any legal advice, not even close. And somebody had mentioned something about planting evidence. Oh yeah, Kimo Maki says if you plant evidence, does it grow crops? If you want to know about planting evidence, you're on the wrong channel there, my friend. Go check out Nate the lawyer who supposedly self-incriminated. Well, no, I think he did self-incriminate. Who supposedly plants evidence because I think he did, my opinion, but whatever. Yeah, so Nate the dishonest lawyer can go tell you all about planting evidence. Yeah, I'm in my opinion, right? I personally believe yes, he was a very crooked cop. I've known him 6 years, and I know how dishonest he could be. So if he was a dishonest lawyer, I'm sure the hell convinced he's a dishonest cop. But anyways, that's again another reason why I have a distrust for cops. I know Nate the lawyer or Nate the dishonest lawyer used to be a police officer, and there's no way he was straight. No way in hell was that guy ethical. None. And I'm not sure if he got fired or not, but there's a reason why he's no longer a cop. I'm sure.
My ID to verify anything. I'm not violating your statute. You know I'm not.
Actually, you are. Sir.
No, I'm not.
Actually, you are.
No. Where was I aiming my camera when you pulled up?
Whenever I pulled up, you were down the street.
It doesn't matter. He could. Okay, let's hypothetically think about this. Let's say that he was doing a news report for a subcontractor for, let's say, like MSNBC or CNN or some news agency, NPR News or whatever. Which, by the way, you don't need press credentials. There's not really no such thing as press credentials. We've all learned that the hard way with Katie Joy saying that she's a journalist and and she has you get credentials. No, all you got to do is print it on a printer. There's no such thing as a press credential. What it is maybe MSNBC or some of these things say, look, we're going to give you something that shows you work for us, but that's about it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make you a journalist. there's just no such thing as an active credential that is a press thing. An active credential would be a state license, a state ID, a passport, even a prison card. Things of that nature are official documentations. Press is nothing. You'll never see a press thing in A, B, or C when you go to get your driver's license or get your ID, right? You have Schedule A, then you have to have one document from that or one from B and C. You don't see press credentials in that because there's no such thing. So what is there to see?
I have no idea.
Aiming at the UPS
I
building.
think he could have handed him literally anything,
Yeah.
and he would have taken it.
But why?
He would have been like, "Oh, so you're with news.com? Oh, that's fine.
You can make one
Never
for
mind.
his YouTube
I'm
channel.
sorry."
So what? It's not official. He probably has, and I think that's kind of cool to do so. But it's not official. He knows that, and I'm sure this
I don't
officer
think-
knows that.
I don't think he was asking for anything official. I think he was just being like,
he wanted to get
"Oh,
the name
so
information. Yeah, and which kind of
Something like
surprises
that.
me because I mean Jason's got a pretty significant channel. How these officers do not know. I mean, because I watch again quite a few of these audits. And sometimes the officers recognize the auditors. I mean, and then they still do stupid shit. So it's like, okay, all right, let's
Well,
go ahead.
I think it's more of a thing with what you call it. Shit, I can't think of the word. It's like if you pulled somebody over, liability. It's a liability thing. It's like you need to
you're talking-
report something.
Well, you're talking about
You need to put something.
qualified immunity.
He needs to put something on his report where it's like, I pulled over so and so. This was his name.
Yeah.
He was with so and so news, and that was that.
Right.
So if anything happens, or if there was like a bunch of pictures from the people from the school show up, you can be like, I know who did it. It was so and so from blah blah news.
It is data gathering, data gathering, and data acquisition. I get that. I understand that certain departments want all that, but that's not Jason's problem or anybody else's problem. That's not citizens' problem. That's the department. But these officers do what's called qualified immunity, which is something that I think is bullshit. I understand that there's a reason for it, and limited qualified immunity probably is necessary for any type of positions like this. Even been in the military, you have to understand these concepts. But this guy, I think, violated his qualified immunity by far. I mean, there's just what he did was illegal, and it just blows me away that he thinks he's in it right. Now, do I think it'll go to court? Yeah. Do I think it'll be settled? Probably. Most of them obviously do. But there's going to be some value to this because this cop is going to cost the city some money. Mark my words on that, because I'm convinced Jason is kind of like me. We don't bluff. We don't bullshit. You guys know I don't bluff. I put my money where my mouth is. What little I have left at this point because of legal stuff. But there's going to be revenue with this, a settlement of some kind, and this guy, if he gets fired, great too. But okay, let's kind of wrap it up on that. Right.
You know when I was doing it's on your camera too.
I don't even have a camera on that car.
No, well I have a camera and so does he.
Okay.
So, am I being detained right now?
Nope, you're not being detained.
All right.
Right there, guys. Not being detained. At that point, he is under no suspicion. He is under no obligation to stick around. He's under no obligation to show ID. He's under no obligation to even let them know what he's doing. He's no obligation to speak with them. Nothing. At this point, the stop is over. Again, my opinion. I'm not an expert on this stuff, and I'm not a lawyer, clearly. But at this point, it's over. At this point, the conversation is done. This is the moneymaker right there. And I'm pretty sure Jason probably knew at that point, if anything goes on beyond that, he has a very good case. Jason is not stupid. I've watched enough of his videos to know does he get some things wrong about the law sometimes? Yeah, but who doesn't, right? We all get things wrong. Even in philosophy, I get a lot wrong. But in maths, even I get a lot wrong. I mean, you go watch some of my videos on calc. Yeah, I make some mistakes, but you learn from them. When I do ever get a chance to interview with Jason, if I get the Non Sequitur show back, hint, I would love to ask him that question straight up. Did you at that point know that when he had said that you were no longer you're not being detained? I don't think even he said he was being detained to begin with. I don't think if I remember this video anywhere he said they're being detained. But when he asked very clearly about being detained, he says, "No, you're done." How do you get arrested off that? You're not under any suspicion. He even said, "Hey, look, you're violating this, but you're not being detained. Then how do you get arrested?" Yeah, this officer is screwed.
Nope, you're not being
Well,
threatened.
I mean, I don't know. He could have been part of an, I guess, currently ongoing investigation regarding that weird 500 feet nonsense that they told him
But
about
he
at the
wasn't being
beginning.
detained, so there's no. But he wasn't.
Well, not
being-
yet,
Yeah,
because the investigation was ongoing
Now,
as they were talking.
once you say, look, that you're not being detained, there's no investigation going on. It's just bullshit at that point. All right, we're almost through this, so then we get some callers and then wrap it up.
All right, well, then you gentlemen have a good day, and I would appreciate if you moved this out of the street. You seriously, look, the school bus is going into a second lane of
Right.
traffic.
Look at that.
That's more of a safety concern than a guy out here with a camera taking pictures of UPS.
You're goddamn right. That right there could sum up this video in a nutshell. What he said just there. The safety there, right there, that school bus going around is a hell of a lot bigger threat than two fucking guys with a video camera on a public sidewalk. Does anybody want to disagree with me on that? Because I want to have that discussion with you. If you disagree with me on that, call in or wait to another stream. But I want to talk to you. I'll even bring on the Non Sequitur show if and when we get it back to have that discussion, because I want to know why you think that two guys armed with a video camera is a bigger threat to society and the public than a school bus in a school zone when school's getting out. Look like having to go around this truck, creating a possible hazard in the middle of the road. I want to know your mindset. But then again, you guys have to remember what kind of people we had on the Non Sequitur show. We had flat earthers, arguing the earth was flat. So I want to put the fact out there that we do not have the brightest of the bright guests sometimes come on the Non Sequitur show. But obviously we want to have we're going to be raising the bar on that kind of stuff. I am going to be doing some flat earth stuff, anti-flat earth stuff coming up because people have been asking me for that. But we're going to try to raise the bar a little bit on these discussions. So, all right, let's wrap this up. Let's get through this video. Mr. Serious, and give me 1 second here. Okay.
So I'd appreciate it if you would make this a safe place.
Is he videoing across at the school?
No, he didn't video Moses.
No.
Oh, see, he didn't video.
No,
Yeah,
I did not.
And again, why would it matter that he did? Again, he could have been doing a independent contractor, subcontractor for filming a news report on the school system or educational system or something. You could film schools. Now, again, do you want to film kids and put it on, public airwaves? No, you blur all that out, right? But that's what he would. I mean, come on. I mean, this is like one of the most bullshit arrests I've ever seen on YouTube, bar none. Bar none. And I've seen false arrests before, but this. You'll see what happens, how fast this escalates. I mean, look, we're at 20 minutes, 53 seconds in, and this video is only 31 seconds long. And in the last almost minute or so is text. But this is how fast it goes from de-escalation to escalation, because they should have been done at this point.
So that's the end of that story.
Yep, that's it. They're done. Bye-bye. That's it. Oh, look at this. Other, officers. How much money and time is wasted by these fuckers coming out and for no reason? I mean, I'm sorry, but I find it egregious that you have to have this many people for something that is clearly non-threat. Clearly not a threat to society. You don't need this many responses. None.
So we got 3 more vehicles here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4,
How
5.
ridiculous is that?
Did the UPS folks contract you to come out and do something with them, sir?
Oh,
That's
Jesus
not
Christ.
that's irrelevant.
That's absolutely irrelevant. And if they did that, why would they call? Right? Why would they call if they had contracted with Jason to film? That's a stupid question. God, I'm so sick of dumb people. I cannot even describe to you how over it I am. This cop is just straight up stupid.
So who's our highest ranking officer here that I can have a conversation with?
That'd be me.
That'd be you.
That would
Okay,
be me.
very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Well, so what can I help you with?
At this point, you're in violation of Florida Statute 810.
I am not in
But
violation.
he just said he wasn't being detained. Make up your goddamn mind. Holy cow. How is it you're not being detained, but you're in violation of a statute which you're not in violation of? I don't get it. Again, what do you guys think in the live chat out there? You guys have been awfully quiet, which is scary. I don't like when live chat get quiet. It makes me nervous. Mr. Serious, I mean, do you at least agree that once somebody says you're not being detained, then how is it you're then go to, oh, you're in violation of something? If you're in violation of something, you would be detained as they investigate that violation, would you not be?
I think that I mean, I've seen this kind of scenario before, but it was like, oh crap! Let me mute the stream. I can't stand my own voice. Oh my god.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not streaming the video through my call, so.
Okay, what was I saying? Crap, I totally lost track.
About
okay. So like
yeah,
they were like the guy who pulled up, the guy in the big truck with all the armor on. I'm guessing that he pulled up because that's the guy's vehicle that they would put him in the back of. He's the guy who would be taking him to jail if they were going to arrest him. The other guys, they're not like they're doing other things.
What
they
about
are
the first
not
vehicle
prepared.
they got there? The first sheriff, he had a car.
Yeah, but they're not all like that's not how they do things. Like they're not like. But if that's not the duty that they're on. So. But
if he wasn't being detained, they could have left at that point, and then all of a sudden, these cops are like, "Well, he was in violation, but we just let him go." Well, wouldn't you at least give him a ticket?
He's basically like. Basically like. Well, this is the kind of the rule. He's basically like, all right, look, he's not detained, but if our arresting officer gets here and he's still here, then he's detained.
Okay, but again, if you have to arrest somebody for a statute, you have not de-escalated properly. By the way, I updated my live chat. My live chat was awfully quiet, and I wondered why it was stuck. I apologize. My end of my live chat in my studio was stuck. I was like, this is what makes me nervous when I don't. I'm used to like people talking in the live chat, and I didn't see it. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Did I lose connection? But my live chat freaking froze. It didn't freeze on the video, but it froze in my studio. So let me kind of update real quick because I'm sorry I missed you guys' things. Jeff says I'm out at the moment and not really in a good position to call in. Too much background noise at the moment. That's fine. Smitty says Christie is the jewel of the Floridian Empire. That is beautiful, Smitty. Wow. I am totally stealing that from you, and I'm gonna actually use that with her, and I'm not gonna give you credit. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm totally going to steal that and tell Christy that she is the jewel of the Floridian Empire, and have her just, fawn over me and not give you any credit whatsoever. Thank you for that. And Treat Feline says, I still think there should be a discussion where there's a comparison between US and EU police. We don't have such a problem with the police over here. Yeah, and I'd love to have that discussion. Yes, absolutely. I think you're spot on with that. Let's see here. Jeff says, my understanding is that the press credentials are more of a thing that are given out at certain events when a press conference is being held. Absolutely, right. Yeah, look, I agree with that. If I'm going to an event, right, and they give you credentials so you can get the back door and you can go here and there and see different things, and that's perfectly fine. That's just a pass. That's like going to a concert and having a backstage pass. It's not something where you state issued, right? That's just through the company or something, right? They're absolutely meaningless, except it allows you to just have certain things. Like, for example, I did as you guys may know, epistemological seminar in Dallas, Fort Worth, and it was a book club, and there was a good number of people. There wasn't a big audience, obviously, but there's a few dozen people there. It was the biggest turnout they had live that they ever had. It actually beat out Aaron Ra. It beat out Dr. Richard Carrier. It beat out everybody they've ever had before. I don't know why. Probably I do know why. Probably a lot of haters there, but it had the biggest turnout. But let's say that it was an event where I had to get a little pass as I was a keynote speaker or whatever it is. That doesn't allow me to go to somewhere else and use that pass, right? It doesn't say, look, I got a pass for this epistemological seminar in this book club. I'm going to go use it to get into some White House press credentials kind of stuff, right? It doesn't work that way. The White House press credentials are given out by the White House, but that's it. It allows you to go to the White House because they know at that point you have been cleared that you have been working for a particular news agency and that you have been vetted and you're no security threat. That's it. That's all it is.
I think that this is working a lot like how things work like when you're at war, where like if you're press, you have like some kind of like something to signify that you're pressed, therefore you're not dangerous and nobody will shoot you.
That's the goal, but what happens is you still get shot at nowadays. People don't respect that kind of stuff. But it's not like the Walter Cronkite days. It's not back when they had the press embedded with the troops. There wasn't as much of a safety concern as there is now. Nowadays, you're escorted by frickin' helicopters and things of that nature, because the threats that now don't have that kind of honor. I mean, you guys have heard the stories, the Christmas stories of stuff like that, where the Germans and Allies and Axis, whatever, they put down their weapons and they had a camaraderie day and things of that nature. There's an honor among soldiers, even among your enemies. We don't have that nowadays. The enemies we fight nowadays are not people that have ethics, and it's a shame, because those are the ones that are scary. Those are the ones that are most dangerous, because they're so lacking of human compassion, right? Fanaticals, yeah, they're fanaticals, exactly. So, there's no honor among soldiers among certain other countries, and even then, they're not even soldiers; they're mercenaries, or they're radicals and terrorists and things of that nature. So it's a big difference. But you're right. I mean, but nowadays, I'd be scared to be a journalist that's embedded with the troops. The troops know what they know they're putting their life on the line. I was off the coast of Kuwait, I told people, look, you're putting your life on the line. But anyways, Goddess Scummer says this is irrelevant to the topic, but I've seen the pinned comment. Have you got control of the non-set yet? No, I have not. But I think that I might be eventually. I think the chances are highly good. It's just a matter of when. Hopefully, sometime between now and the end of the year. I'm hoping by December or around December. I'm starting to look for guests now. So if you are somebody that wants to join us on the Non Sequitur Show, email that account I made specially made for that. Like I said, I will reach out. I'll find a way to reach out to Jason and his son. I would love to have him as a guest. And they would be, if they look at the Non Sequitur Show, they would be among some amazing other guests, because they might not know it, but that show was popular on YouTube. Not as big as their channel by any means, but I mean, it made Forbes.com. It has been talked about for 2 years now among various communities. So I want to start doing that again. At least even if we didn't get Nonsec back, Cheshire and I want to start doing stuff, right? We did Caffeine Corner. We're gonna have a special episode of that. We did Judgment Call, but we want to go back to our roots a little bit, and we want to interview people like we did kind of like early days of a Non Sequitur show, but at a higher level than what we had before, because obviously Kyle wanted more dumpster fires, and of course he ran that into the ground. Stole $60,000 and screwed all the fans, and then submitted false evidence to the court. I mean, whatever. We'll see on that. Let's see here.
Ash Scott made a good point in the chat about the video.
She makes a lot of good points.
Talking about somebody in the background looking like they're in a different uniform. Maybe that these people might not be part of the same. What would you say? Different departments?
Yeah, well, it looks like the sheriff's department came out first, but sheriffs can arrest, but it looked like they maybe got the local PD involved.
Yeah, they might have somebody from the police department to bring them to the jail. Like that might be the easiest way to go.
And I think that might have been what they did. You're probably right on that. I'll give you that one. Like I said, Jason can probably give us more information on that. Goddess Scummer, the 2 pound, says, I'm missing context here. How are UPS involved? Because that was originally what they were filming, was the UPS store. Or excuse me, just like I look like a distribution center, if I wasn't mistaken, and that's what they were filming. That's what they were doing the audit on. RT96 says, agree, Steve. The arrest is totally ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I said this is probably one of the worst egregious violations of the First Amendment I've ever seen on YouTube, and that's saying something. Presumably the police are there to protect UPS from any threat to profits. I think there's something to be said about that. There's no reason to have gone any further once Jason had told them what he was doing. I don't, again, the threat to profits right now is the fact that they look stupid. They look stupid. That's the biggest threat. Ash says epistemological seminar sounds fun. Yeah, I don't know what else to call it. It wasn't an epistemological seminar. Let's see.
The way I see it is, I don't think they look as stupid as Florida looked stupid. I think they're doing their job perfectly as Florida has laid it out for them.
No way.
Florida's stupid.
Well, no, I agree with that, but no, they're not doing their job. They are not doing their job.
That stupid 500-foot whatever nonsense shouldn't be there.
Oh, I agree. That's probably unconstitutional, but they are compelled to de-escalate. Now, I don't know Florida statute. I don't know Floridian departmental thing. But in most departments, like I said, they have put it out there. We want our officers to de-escalate. This was de-escalated long ago when it was, found out what he did. At that point, done. Especially when he says you're not being detained. But let's continue and watch where this goes. Let's watch this.
0975.
For standing here taking pictures of UPS, I'm a photojournalist working on a story. Just to give you a little. You want to go.
What credentials are there for a freaking photojournalist? Somebody tell me this. Like, seriously, what possible credentials could you possibly have if you're an independent contractor? I'm an independent contractor, right? Because I do YouTube videos. 2,000 videos I have out there. About 3 channels I have. 2,000 videos. I'm an independent contractor. I get a 1099 miscellaneous form, right? If I'm out and I do a video, I'm an independent contractor. I have no credentials. I'm just a YouTuber.
If he just pulled out like a badge that had like a website on it, he would have taken it. Like not even anything official. That would have been enough.
Maybe, but here's the thing: Jason's no obligation to do so, and I think Jason was right for not doing it. I mean, look, a lot of people don't want to get arrested, and I get that, and I applaud him for putting his quote, kind of money where his mouth is, that he was willing to get arrested for what he believed. I applaud that, but not everybody has the ability to do that. And there have been First Amendment auditors that instead of getting arrested have shown their ID, and I applaud that as well because they have family and things of that nature, and they've already made their point. There's no point to be made by getting arrested for certain situations. This situation here, yeah, I mean, he stood his ground and he did not show the information. Because there's just none to show, because you don't need any kind of credentials for journal. Because he's actually a video journalist, right? I mean, there are other people out there that claim to be a journalist who I don't believe that are. One of which who I'm suing, right? I'm suing somebody who claims to be a journalist. They're not. Fun fact,
right?
And so they don't have any special protections, even if they were journalists, so they weren't. I mean, defamation is defamation, but this guy is asking for credentials that just don't exist. That's bullshit.
Right? Exactly. That's why, I mean, I don't think that
exposition.
I don't think there's any like official thing. Like he's just like there's that stupid ass vague law that he is like that they invoked, talked about it, and now that they've said it, it's like they can't back off of it now.
Well, like they could. All they have to do is say, look, we know the law. Look at the law again. Here's the law. It says again. What does not have legitimate business in the school safety zone. Right. He's already told him his legitimate business. This no longer applies.
No. See, legitimate would require that thing he just asked for.
What do you mean?
He said, "Where's the credentials?" Would make it legitimate.
That's bullshit, though. What makes it legitimate is that he was there for a reason. He told him that reason. If Jason would have said something like, "Well, yeah, I've really got no business being here. I'm just here," then there might have been something to be said, even though I still think this law or the statute is unconstitutional. They could have enforced it better. But this is unenforceable as is once they know that he has legitimate business. Again, my opinion. You
said that KJ wasn't legitimate. I think in the same way that he is saying that this guy is not legitimate.
But does it matter? No. I think you misunderstood me. Okay, he actually is a journalist, but Katie's not, in my opinion, an actual journalist. Is she a public figure? Yes, right? We know she's a public figure. She's admitted she's a public figure, and Todd Chrisley is suing her as a public figure, right? And I'm suing her as a public figure, right? So she is a public figure. Doesn't mean that she is a journalist. It just means that she's a public figure, okay? Mm-hmm. And so if he would have asked, like, Katie for journalist stuff, he would have been in the wrong, too. But if Katie was out there having a legitimate reason filming stuff, she would have been fine, too. So it's about the intent. His intent was to go out there with a purpose for filming that he was going to be using on his video channel. That's legitimate. How is that not legitimized, right? So he's just fishing at this point. He just wants information. And I'm surprised that not one of these guys know who frickin' he is. It just boggles my mind. All right, let's get through this real quick, because this is where the arrest comes up. Foreshadowing here. Spoilers.
With the school thing, this is my son.
Okay.
So I'm not out here with my son doing anything nefarious.
Sir, I'm out here working. If you can provide credentials.
You told me I'm not being detained and I'm not breaking any laws, so I don't feel like I have any reason to give you any credentials. What would be the purpose of that? I literally
Exactly.
am standing here with my camera facing that way, working on a story about UPS, and you gentlemen have all decided to come here and harass me today.
Exactly. And by the way, somebody says, can we play more than 3 seconds of the video before having a 30-minute discussion? No, that's not how I do my channel. This channel is all about discussions, commentary, and things of that nature, more than what we're talking about itself. It's about the dialogue. So yeah, it takes a little while to get used to, but people that have been around my channel for many, 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 many years knows that. So I apologize, but I want to talk about the issues as it comes up, and I apologize if you want to watch. Again, I have the link in the description. Go to Jason's channel and watch his video in its entirety. By all means, I want people to do. That's why I put it in the video description. Just like I would want somebody to watch this particular video in its entirety, but I want people to listen to the commentary as I do it, and people that call in do it. The numbers in the corner.
What's going on?
Well, we didn't just decide
just because they don't know, they want to know why I'm here. That's up to them. That's I don't have any lawful reason to explain myself to anybody.
Other than the fact that you're across from 2 schools.
So
what does the statute say? The statute says be around a school without a lawful purpose. Now, the reason for that statute is to prevent people from doing nefarious things around school property.
You're exactly right. I agree with that.
I am a photojournalist working on a story, and I am out here taking video of a neighboring.
Credentials, sir.
I don't have what credentials would you like?
What credentials?
To prove that you're a journalist.
What would that look like?
I have no idea. Show me some kind of credentials.
There is no such thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a YouTuber. Do I have credentials? I'm a YouTuber, right? When I was a reactor plant, nuclear dude, did I have credentials carried around with me that other than my military ID that I was, certified to train people to operate nuclear power plants? No, there was no credential like that, But did I have an empowerment by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission through the military to operate and train people to operate nuclear power plants? Yes. Why? Because I had the qualifications to. Why? Because I went to school for it. Doesn't mean I have that, do I have a certificate? Yeah, I got a certificate from nuclear power school and stuff like that. But do I carry that around? No. But is it credentials? Sure, I guess. When somebody said, do you have credentials to sign somebody's qualifications that they can safely operate a 150 megawatt reactor? Yes, I did at one time. Did I carry that around? No. So, it's just stupid. It's just stupid this guy's asking for information that just doesn't exist. Yeah, diploma from Al's, no, chemo should be Big Al's School of Journalism. There you go. Big Al's School of Journalism. Yeah. But here it comes up. Here it comes up. This is where this guy just went from 0 to 60. Yes, Jeff says, can I come in? Yeah, absolutely. The phone lines are open. I'm mysterious here, but open lines. Anybody can call in. It doesn't kick him out. So if you want to call in, now's the time before I wrap up and give my final thoughts. I do want to thank especially Watching the Watchmen and Amagansett Press, Jason, for stopping by. A big shout out to them, and if they shout to me, I'd be thrilled to death because I suck at self-promotion. 8 years on YouTube, and my self-promotion still sucks, even though I had a nice channel at one time, which I think I will be getting back, and I do want Jason as a guest because I would love to interview him for this. All right, continue on.
The government does not issue press passes. There is no such thing. I could print one up on my computer and show it to you.
Yeah,
there's no such thing as a press pass.
None.
Okay.
I've explained to you what I'm doing. I told you what I'm doing.
Okay. Is this the mountain you're going to die on, sir?
What do you mean is that the mountain I'm going to die
So
on?
to put you in jail you're in violation
For
of
what?
statute.
So what would you like me to tell? So under threat of arrest, I'll give you my ID if that's what you want.
Right there. Now, again, whoever didn't like the stopping, I have to stop because I have to comment on this stuff because it's what I do. He said very clearly, he articulated, under threat of arrest, I will give you my identification. Huge props for that. Absolutely. Look, there's a lot of people who don't want to go to jail, and there's no point of going to jail if you can get out of it. It doesn't really serve an additional purpose at that point. You made your point. And so for him, I know a lot of First Amendment auditor fans, they'll comment, he should never give up his ID. Bullshit. Look, you don't know what's going on with certain people in their personal lives, and maybe they don't want to get arrested for friends and family or things of that nature. There's not everybody is willing to go to jail for that, and Jason is. Huge props to it. But again, you cannot hold it against him. You've already made your point, right? So I would like to point out that for all the people that critique these videos, stop telling First Amendment auditors you should never give up your ID. No, if at that point, like right at this point, during the end of the interaction, when he's already said, look, you're not being detained, there's nothing to be served by him not offering that. And I applaud Jason for offering his ID at that point. I really am. But watch this officer. Even after Jason said, I'll show you my ID, if under threat of arrest, watch what happens. Go ahead.
Well, hold on. An officer, there's some things an officer can and can't do, and this is going to sound really weird. An officer is never allowed to give you like.
I'm sorry. I just found.
Um.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, am I here? Am I still good?
You're here, sir. Sorry about that.
Okay. An officer is never allowed to give you like advice. For like your crap. What is it called? Like advice for like your crap. What is it called?
Advice for what?
Like for what to do to get like arrested or not, or to what to do to like for like your trial and stuff. I can't think of the word. I totally lost the word suddenly.
I'm not quite sure.
Like the cop isn't your attorney.
Oh, your advocate. You mean your advocate?
Yeah, they can't give you advice like that. So if you say like. If you say that, I want me to show your ID, like at the risk of being arrested, they can't say anything to that. Like they can't say anything to that. But you may come to the point where they can no longer like you have crossed the line and now you will be arrested. That may happen, but they can't talk to you about that. They can't go 5 seconds or you're going to be arrested. Legal advice. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, they can't give you legal advice. Anis Frieda says First Amendment frauders are 98% a bunch of idiot Karens and sovereign citizens who have no clue about the law. Yeah, no, a lot of like that. Look, we talked a lot about sovereign citizens on the Non Sequitur show. We had a lot of sovereign citizens and flat earthers and all kinds of people with weird things. And yeah, sure, there are some bad First Amendment auditors, but that's kind of the reason why I kind of almost exclusively watch Amagansett Press, and I watched Schrodinger's Cat, but he's not an auditor. He just is. Reviews, and then I watch obviously Audit the Audit. There are a few auditors out there I do watch, not many anymore, but there's a couple. But yeah, I do see a lot of them do that. Sure, I see a lot of them. Like there's this one auditor, and I don't remember his name at all, but Schrodinger's Cat talks about him quite frequently. But he goes out of his way to antagonize the police, and one of these days he's going to get shot and killed. I mean, he's just he goes out with that one kid. What's his name? News Now something or other.
Houston?
No, it's the other one. News Now Patrick. News Now Patrick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a good way to audit at all. I mean, this guy definitely goes out of a way to antagonize. And I mean, when you have an interaction with an officer and they say, like take your hands out of your pockets like that, and you don't, yeah, there's some suspicions there. There's reasons that put that police on heightened alert. You're not doing anybody a favor at that point. You're just putting your life in the line. That's silly. When an officer tells you to do something and it's lawful and it's for their own safety, just do it. I mean, that's just dumb not to. You're not standing your ground when it's a safety concern like that. You're just not. You're asking for trouble. Now watch the outside, because this is where it comes up. Watch how fast this happens. Jason, at this point said, "I will show you my ID under threat of arrest." Oh, and this is, like I said, I know he already has a lawyer, and his lawyer's, I'm sure, having a field day with this, because this is just the dumbest thing I've ever seen at this point. Here we go.
Leave. That's all I'm asking you to do is leave
I just
the
want
premises
you
of
to
these
leave.
schools.
So you're going to throw me? I'm not on the school premises. I'm across the street,
You're within
sir.
500 feet, as I've already explained to you, the school safety.
With a legitimate business purpose.
There he
Sir,
goes.
I'll give you my. Wait, hold on. I told you.
Get your hand out of your pocket.
So and he says, I was arrested on the violation of the Florida statute 810.0975, which you've already read, trespass in a school zone. After 6 hours in a cell, I was released on $250 bail. All that for $250 bail. I mean, look at Kyle. Kyle had a $10,000 bond. $10,000. And what did Kyle do? Kyle stole a bunch of money, lied to the fans of the show, submitted false evidence to the court, committed perjury, committed forgery, committed embezzlement. And he wasn't arrested for any of that. He was arrested for assault. But here's Jason publicly filming on a public sidewalk, and he's a $250 bail. So I mean, so let's think about this, guys. Let's think about this. I know I'm sorry for Amagansett Press out there. He's not going to know what the hell we're talking about, but maybe he might be interested in it later on. But here's a guy that was exercising a First Amendment constitutionally protected activity. He got arrested, spent 6 hours in jail with a $250 bail. Kyle never spent. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that. He did spend time in jail because he was already arrested for the assault, and he probably would have gone out had not been for the criminal contempt that he had on the court. So he did serve jail for that, and it was a $10,000 bond on that. But Kyle did not serve a day in jail for any of the embezzlement, perjury, or forgery that he did after he stole my channel. And the four false DMCAs he didn't spend any time in jail for. Each one of those is a violation of the law. He broke the law every time he false flagged non sequitur show stuff on that I put on this channel. So it wasn't even non sequitur show stuff on this. It was stuff that just arts that he had. So he false flagged 4 times, which when you do a DMCA, you are testifying that you have the rights to something which he didn't have because the court already ruled he didn't have the rights to that, which means that he willfully violated the law. Didn't spend a day in it. So my point being is that here's a guy that did absolutely nothing fucking wrong, and he got more of a punishment than Kyle Curtis did, who was the number 6 on the world's number 6 on the 9 worst YouTubers of all time on that Creepy Readings video, which I'm going to have back on the show as a guest. I like that guy. Creepy Reading is a good guy. Go watch that video if you guys haven't checked it out. Go watch the Creepy Reading. He's got a bigger channel than Amagansett Press, I think, even. And he did a video on the 9 worst YouTubers, and Kyle was number 6 if I'm not mistaken. So, and if you ever don't know who may be watching, Kyle was my ex-business partner for a show that we had, and he stole every dime of the show, stole the channel, kicked me and the producer off, and it's been in litigation ever since. So I understand about sticking up for rights, but let's continue on. So he then says, the following day I retained Florida criminal defense attorney Kevin Alvarez in Tallahassee, which I'm pretty sure that he probably has on speed dial. But Mr. Alvarez appeared in Bay County yesterday on my behalf at the courthouse for the first appearance hearing, which I guess probably happens in a few days, right? I mean, normally you have a first appearance within a few days. And so I assume that this is the 13th. I don't know when this interaction with the officers took place. I assume it wasn't long ago. It was probably maybe last week, give or take. And then he had a first appearance, and he had his lawyer appear. Mr. Alvarez met with the assistant state attorney with Joshua James and presented him with the federal case law Gray versus Cole, which in 2008, I believe it was, that said that this law was unconstitutional or something to that effect. That case law stems from a 2008 Southern District of Florida federal judge ruling. Right, so I don't even know why this is on the books. The judge ruled 810.095 to be unconstitutional and permanently enjoined law enforcement from statewide from enforcing it. So let me get this straight, because this is where I got confused. According to this ruling, this statute is unconstitutional, which I firmly believe it was. Even before I even saw this, I believe it was unconstitutional. But the judge ruled it was unconstitutional and enjoined means prevented by law to have any law enforcement enforcing it. So it's an unenforceable statute, but it's still on the books, which needs to be changed. I mean, clearly, if something is unenforceable, it should be moved from the books immediately. Immediately, they should go in and have a session and remove that from the statutes, from the books. They didn't. So I don't know if this guy didn't know this or whatever, but even still, even if he knew this or not, it doesn't matter, because ignorance of the law is no excuse, and that applies to police officers as well. Now, does he have qualified immunity on that? Yes, I think that he does. He has qualified immunity because even police officers cannot know every single thing. But the way he enforced this particular ruling, after knowing that Jason did not do anything wrong and knew full well that he had a legal reason to be there, that's where the legalities come in. That's where I think Jason has a very strong case. And my live chat freeze again. I don't know why it keeps doing that. My live chat keeps freezing. So I apologize for that. I'm not ignoring you guys out there. He says, how do you get in? Do you guys, Jeff, you don't see you don't see on the bottom of the corner the phone number to call? You look at the very bottom.
It's there.
Yeah, at the very bottom left, there's a phone number you can call with a PIN number. Call that number, Jeff. Or anybody else who wants to call in. Like I said, I'd love to speak to Jason or his son, or both, whatever, on this. Although I'd rather do it on a different video to interview them, maybe on the Non Sequitur show or on my channel. But if they want to call in here, just give a quick update. I'd love that. Like I said, I only have a very few people that I really watch a lot, so them coming by means a lot. And I don't get starstruck. Again, I interview actors and famous people and PhDs all the time. I don't get starstruck at all. But when I have somebody that I actually think does a great channel, yeah, I appreciate that. I get a little bit of a kick out of that. So let's see here. Intrigued Feeling says, by the way, this timer has sometimes reset as well. No, I don't know why the timer is not updating here. I have to fix that. That timer should be how many days it's been since Kyle promised to pay me. It's like 860 days or something like that, whatever it is. It's been 2 years that Kyle has not paid me, and I don't know why that has not updated on that. Well, this is the first time I've used this format from Streamlabs in a while, so I didn't know that it wasn't working. I will have to fix that. But that timer still is active at 800 some odd days. So I think you should make Ash Scott a mod. She's a voice of reason when the other mods goose step. That is true. Smitty has nominated Ash Scott for a mod. Do we have somebody that can second that? Oh, you having a problem with the phone?
Goose step.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. I will just give you the direct line to call in. If you want to use Meets, I'll give you the code to get in here. Give me 1 second here, and you just. All right, if you want to join, there you go. Just click that link right there, and you come in with Meets. Anybody who wants to join. You don't want to call in because maybe it's not working. Although you were able to call in, weren't you? Yeah, he called in. Mr. Sears is on the phone. But anyways,
yep.
There, just click that link if you want to come in and add to the discussion. So I tell you what, I will second, because I have control over this. I will second Smitty's nomination for Ash to be a mod, and I agree with him. Ash is one of the best out there, and she will get mods here. But I don't want to have too many mods. So. You want to third it? You want to solidify it?
Yep.
All right, that's fine. So Ash, you get a mod again. People know I took all my mods out, all of them. Plus, I was having YouTube issues. I couldn't do a bunch of stuff on my YouTube channel, and it was on their end. They did fix it. All right, so let's finish this video out real quick and get some people to call in or talk about, and then we'll wrap it up. Uh-oh. Where's the video? Where's the video? Did I close it out? I hope I didn't close it out. Didn't mean to. Nope, I did not close it out. There we go. Here we go. All right, so that's an unenforceable statute. 20 minutes later, the ADA, Assistant District Attorney James, issued a complete dismissal of the charge, and the state refused to proceed. Go figure. That ADA did right. Because of the fantastic quick work of attorney Kevin Alvarez, justice has been served. Mr. Alvarez contacts in the video, whatever. We are now working with a civil attorney, smart, who will be filing a federal lawsuit against the appropriate parties, as well you should. And you have a case, I believe. Again, I'm not a lawyer. Don't take my... Look,
I don't understand why you pulled over to ask me if I need it.
All I can tell you is, this was the beginning of the video, but again, go to his channel and watch that. All I can tell you is this. I have been dead on correct in all legal matters with the Law and Sequitur Show for 2 years. And I actually have more evidence that have recently been acquired proving how much Kyle did lie. That has not been made public yet. I'm saving that for when we get the channel back. But yes, I have unequivocal proof beyond any measure from Kyle himself that Kyle had been planning to kick me off the show and the producer off the show to take it all over up to a month before it actually happened. I have that proof. And so anybody who's ever said, it was a spur moment thing, Kyle just got hot and we got an argument and he kicked us off. No, he had been planning this for at least a month. I have that evidence. Shocker. So you get a little taste right there, because nobody else knows that besides me and Cheshire, but I'm going to give that to you guys, and hopefully Cheshire won't get mad at me for that. But yeah, I do have that evidence. But all right, so anyways, what do you guys think so far? Come on in if you want to have a discussion on that. Give me your guys' opinions, and we'll kind of wrap it up. So let me go back to my other layout here. All right, so what do you guys think? Do you think Jason did a good job on his audit? Do you think that he was legally in the right? Do you think this officer was in the right? What say you guys?
I think he did a good job. I think that the officers did, as long as the law is still in their books, then I think that they also did a good job exposing how shitty their whole thing is. that it's good to have this kind of stuff exposed. They need to do a better job. None of them seem to speak up and say, "Wait a minute, wasn't that law, done away with so long ago?"
Well, that's their obligation.
None of them said it.
They're supposed to know these things, right?
Right, but none of them said it. All of them were like, "Oh yeah, that's totally a law. That's totally a law." Yep.
Somebody else come in because I want to know if that meat leaks works. It should. Can somebody else try to come in? Zan asks, "Who's the producer?" Our producer for the Non Sequitur show was named Dave. His professional name was Bullinator. He passed away in 2000. Was it just before Christmas 2020? It was devastating to us all. Things have never been right ever since. It was. He never got to see the fruition of 2 years worth of lawsuit with Kyle, which is the officer's in the right. Why? Yeah. Why would be the officer in the right? Because let's look at things factually. As you guys know, I do things factually and logically. So here's the facts. Was there a statute? Yes. Was it enforceable? No. Was Jason doing a lawfully protected constitutional activity? Yes. Was he being detained? No. The officer even said that. Was he under any legal obligation? Not as far as I know, to prevent any kind of credentials or ID. No. So what was he being arrested for? If he already said that he wasn't being detained, what was he under arrest for?
Well, not yet. Not yet.
My producer passed away from natural causes. That's all I'll say.
The way I see it is the officer was desperately hoping that that Jason would leave, so he wouldn't, quote unquote, have to arrest him for that statute.
No, he was looking for something to arrest him by. There's no question in my mind about that. These guys did not roll up to try to de-escalate and find out what's going on, just leave. Because we've seen that happen. We've seen that happen.
He said before he arrested him, he's like, just leave. Like, he's pointing away, just leave. Like, if he would just leave, I think that would have ended it right there. But then he's just like, nope. And he's like, well, fuck it then. Here's some handcuffs. Officers would much rather not have paperwork than have paperwork.
Real quick. So, okay, Jeff, let me just send you directly through Twitter, maybe, the link to join real quick. And then there was something I was going to add on that. So Jeff, check your DMs. Try that link there. That should work for you. If not, just take that number and put it in. Just go to Meets and put that digit code in. That should work. Because I just don't know why it's not. If I'm going to, I don't know why you can't use it. That's what I'm saying. Does anybody else? Right? Does anybody else know?
Do you want me to try your link? Want me to move over to your?
I don't think you really need to. Oh wait, there he comes in.
No. Okay.
All right, so that did work. So before I get Jeff's opinion real quick, I was going to say real quick. Oh wow, you do get some background noise, do you, brother?
Yeah, and I've tried to blank as much of it out as I can. I've gone upstairs in a private room and asked them to kill the music, shut the door, and everything.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But what I was going to say something. Gosh, I was going to add on this. Shoot. Okay, go ahead and go because I didn't know where I was going with that. I was going to add something to it, but I completely lost my train of thought. So.
Well, I'm a little late to the game here because I only sort of joined this, started watching the stream maybe we're halfway through. And there's a lot to get my head around because obviously a lot of the laws I'm familiar with in the UK are very different from America. Now, I mean, so I'm trying to catch up and get context to a lot of this stuff. But it piqued my interest because you mentioned he's filming outside a UPS depot for whatever reason. Now, I mean, that's not the company I work for, but I do work in that particular industry, which is perhaps why it piqued my interest a little bit. I mean, as far as I can tell, as long as he's not crossed the property line, I would have thought the guy was legally okay.
Well, he was. I don't think there's any questions about the legalities. I think it's a clear-cut and right, especially because the ADA dismissed charges. I mean, they even said this is unenforceable. A 2008 case, as the Watchman pointed out in the live chat, said that statute is not enforceable. So as far as like any legalities, he was nothing. He didn't do anything wrong.
I can't see any issues from the way I see it, as long as he's not crossed that particular like a property line there, because certainly I do know, and again I'm only going off of what I know in the UK. Like I said, I do work in that same industry that UPS is in.
Mm-hmm. And would you care if somebody was filming outside on a public sidewalk? I sure the hell wouldn't.
If someone's outside filming on a public sidewalk, I really am not that bothered.
Not at all.
Yeah, now if they cross the line into the building or whatever, that's a different matter.
Sure. But Jason knows that. He does his research.
Yeah, because obviously, there's, you've got packages lying about with loads of people's addresses. There's like a data protection issue there once you cross that threshold as well, in that industry. So it's kind of why it piqued my interest now.
But here's the thing on that. Like, for example, they also go to post office and they do post office auditing, and anything in public view, we all know. Yeah. And here's the thing. I've never seen them go out to try to get personal information. Right, I've seen them offer to blur certain things too, if I'm not mistaken, or just cut out.
I'll say outright, because a lot of people know who I work for anyway, and it's not a massive secret. I actually work for the British Royal Mail, which is equivalent to the USPS,
right.
But we were privatised about 8 years ago or so we're technically a private company now. Rather than like a government-owned, which
right. Well, UPS is very similar, right? It's a government contractor.
Yeah. It's
part of the infrastructure. United States Postal Service isn't owned by the government either. That's not. It's under federal. If I remember correctly, it's under federal guidelines, but it's not owned by any federal agency.
Yeah, but and again, this is obviously different to the UK. America, but I did have to sign something called like the Official Secrets Act, which is, which is also people in like British military have to sign that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, but the way I see it, again, as long as he did not cross that threshold where he's putting those kind of issues. And from what I can tell, he didn't.
Right. But that's because that's a private, like you said, it's a private thing, right? Now, a lot of these people do. I'm not talking about Jason, but a lot of people that he films use misinformation to try to dissuade people from filming. Like, for example, I watched one where they went out and it was a Harley Davidson business, and I don't remember where it's at, so forgive me. He states in every video where he's at and the temperature and all that stuff, and I like that. And he always, if there's a flag there, he pays respect to the flag. But there was a Harley Davidson business where the owner came out and the owner said, well, I can't have you filming because we have VIN numbers and people use those VIN numbers to make fake titles. It's like, does he not understand that every car on the road has a VIN number right there in the window anyone can go get? That was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard anybody say for a reason not to film. But I understand there's personal information, like addresses and stuff like that at the post office. But again, the post office has an obligation to not to have those things within public view. Same thing with you go to a federal agency, anything from the that you're standing in the foyer and you're filming. They have an obligation to keep that information private. They have the responsibility. Even at a medical facility, they have the HIPAA. We don't. They have the obligation under HIPAA not to.
And I would imagine that a UP. I mean, certainly UK. So any of the private. Well, because we're private now, but I sort of say that's a colloquial thing because that's just the way within our industry. All like the other firms do have that same obligation, whether it be UPS, DPD, FedEx. Whoever, they still have that obligation.
Well, because they're part of the infrastructure. Even like the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve is a private organization, but it's part of the infrastructure. So sure,
absolutely. So that's why it piqued my interest. But from what I could see of that, and again, I came to the party a bit late during this stream. I've admitted that. I couldn't see that he was putting anything like that in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a consensus.
I guess the other thing I wanted to maybe weigh in on was the whole, because I brought this up in the chat about, like, press credentials and who's a journalist, who's not. I mean, we are in a different world maybe from what we were in like 20 odd years ago, when if you were considered a journalist, it was like you worked for a newspaper or TV, whoever. It's a little bit of a different thing now because obviously with the rise of the internet, everybody's got a platform.
Right.
And some people will, and I mean, this became a bit of an issue in the UK with an activist who sort of far right activist who's sort of somewhat tried to stylize himself as a journalist. A guy called Tommy Robinson. He's I'm going to say politics. I think his politics are despicable, and he's a disgusting human being. But there became a bit of a free speech issue around what he did, the way he covered a trial. Unfortunately, I will say a lot of people, shall we say, in the UK are under some sort of misapprehension that we've got the same sort of free speech laws or whatever that you've got in the UK. And I actually was one of the people that what Tommy Robinson actually did under the guise of journalism, he actually what he was doing was technically interfering with a criminal court proceeding, which is what he got locked up for in the UK, but under the guise of journalism. But I think that there's definitely a big misunderstanding in the UK that people think that for some reason they've seen a lot of they think that the US First Amendment is something that applies in the UK. Where it doesn't.
Yeah, they think it's worldwide. So let me real quick, Jeff, because I got to wrap this up because I got an appointment on another channel for James is Tired is going to interview me.
No worries.
I do got to wrap it up, but what I want to do is this for a future episode. I want to have maybe you come on to talk about UK politics. I'll have Chris Attlee come on to talk about Australian politics. Oh yeah, because you guys do your shit at 5 a.m. for me. And
myself and Chris have very interesting discussions because
I invited him on today, but he didn't get back to me.
Chris is. Yeah, well, I was too busy gloating about England beating Australia and wrote me to him earlier. But anyway, I mean, it's interesting because Chris and I are politically very much at opposite ends of the scale.
I know.
I actually really. He's a really good friend, and he's someone and he has said to me that I've swayed him on a couple of issues, and I will say Chris has made me think, if not swayed me completely to the other side, he's definitely made me. Think about.
Chris has done that to me as well. Yeah, we both. I mean, here's the thing: none of us agree on everything. Nobody should. But anyways, like I said, I do got to wrap this up. I got to end this call because I got to get ready for that. But I want to thank you, Jeff, for calling, and Mr. Sirius for calling in. I'm going to close this and wrap it up. But I want you to notice on the outside, the days came back. 885 days since Kyle decided to pay me. Wow. Yeah, or said he was going to pay me. And all right, so I'm going to close this hangout out. And just wrap it up if you want to listen to the outside, okay?
He's gonna pay, maybe not necessarily in the way he said he was going to initially.
We're working on a payment plan. We're looking. We're going to get close to a $200,000 settlement. Will I see that? No, but I have 10 years to have a structured payment plan, so we'll go from there. And then I could re up it, and then obviously Riv has legal costs, but goes to him. But yeah, he's going to owe me about $150,000. In perpetuity. Yeah. So but I'm not gonna see that money. If I get $1 out of him, I'll be surprised. Like literally $1. I mean, because he's got nothing. He literally has nothing now. He blew that $60,000. It was nothing on. Well, we know we know what he blew it on, or blew it on blow. Supposedly. Hypothetically. Allegedly.
I mean. Okay, I did catch a bit of your stream the other day, and I where you kind of got cut off at the end because your internet crashed or whatever. But
I think I fixed that problem. I think I'm on Wi-Fi and my no longer.
Which is a shame because you're in the middle of a quite interesting discussion when it cut off. But,
And I was going to finish that discussion today on, again, forgiveness, but I don't have time today.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do it tomorrow, but I want to do it on Saturdays because.
That could be an interesting conversation.
I agree.
I mean, hey, maybe the passing of time you may feel different. I don't know. Neither of us know. But my position on it is, I don't feel that you are under any obligation to forgive him.
None. He screwed, not just screwed me, but he screwed the fans of the show, and that would have been, that show would have been. I mean,
I think you were on the course to 100,000. I do think. Now, would you? I don't know.
We were mentioning Wikipedia. Well,
I definitely think you were going to at least 100,000.
Oh yeah, we were mentioning Wikipedia, I think 3 times at that point. So, but anyways, I do gotta get going, so I do gotta end this. Mr. Sirius, you want to add anything real quick? You want to make it really quick?
Nope. Just thanks for everybody.
I want to eat and shower before my next show on James is Tired. All right, thank you, Mr. Sirius, for joining in. Like I said, I'm gonna end this meet, and then I'll wrap it up. So, all right, so. Anyways, guys, this was fun. I do appreciate you guys for showing up. I want to thank all the live chat. I want to thank my members for the channel. I want to thank my Patreons. I want to thank people that have donated to the GoFundMe for my legal stuff. If Amagansett Press, Jason, and Watching the Watchmen are still out there, I don't know if they suffered for 2 hours. I would like to get their feedback on either a comment or leave me a message, email, because I do want to bring them on eventually as guests to the show on this channel or to the Non Sequitur show and ask them these types of questions. I want to get their feedback on it. Now, I understand there's legality matters and maybe they don't want to have an interview because they're under they're suing, but I think there's definitely discussion to be had about generic discussions like this. So if they are interested in that, please let me know. Like I said, I don't know if they're even still listening, but it was nice that they even dropped by because this channel has never been that big. I think the most I hit was 17.2 thousand subs. But anyways, thanks for guys watching. I'll see you guys over on James's Tired channel. Again, we're gonna have not a debate, but a discussion on philosophy and my particular philosophical views. James has been a really great guy for me. For a really great friend for quite some time. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's changed his position quite a bit. A lot of it was because of my writings and my blogs and things of that nature, which is, to me, the biggest influence I have on YouTube, is that when I have somebody tell me that, say, Steve, I used to think this way, but I now think this way because of your essays and your writings and your proofs and your videos, that means a lot to me. It's one of the things that keeps me going. I was about ready to be done with YouTube quite some time ago. Just because of how much it's cost me. I mean, it's cost me thousands of dollars to be on YouTube because of legal matters. And I'm always the one suing, right? But it's just it wasn't fun anymore. People took the fun out of it, and I get these messages going. Just the other day, I had somebody tell me, how much their positions have changed because they realized that I gave them information they never had before. And that means a lot to me. So if I have changed a position on anything, let me know, because I kind of need to hear that. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up, guys, and I will see you later tonight on James' channel. Thank you all for watching, and good night.